laborer, All-Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with track hoe or backhoe experience, All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All-Star Construction with the year-round employment. Gas or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get this done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with track hoe or backhoe experience searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road comes ahead,
people, places, and moments that made you glad you chose this rural life. Maybe it's the view from your farm, a walk down Main Street, neighbors pitching in, a weekend at the rodeo, or a sunset down a back road. Share your photo of life and the worth celebrating. And vote at whatsyourshare.ca.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower, dented while door crashing. Experienced it all. Did the company Christmas church? It's winter. Your car was damaged, and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair and get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to robertsonbodyworks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
The Jason Gregor Show.
The humidity dropping off has made a huge difference. Messi flying forward. Messi.
On Sports 1440.
The second leading score in the history of the world.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Got the full package.
Messi. Gonzalez. Back to Messi. Messi! His first World Cup trick, and it's a Richard Center.
Well, a wonderful Wednesday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, Twitch, lots of places. Maybe you're listening on TuneIn, you're listening on the Radio Player app, wherever it is. We very much appreciate you finding time in your day to share it with us. So very much appreciative of that. Hope you're having a great day. It's a little rainy in the capital city. The Gregor Show is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where tonight the OG, the original Lotto 649. Gold Ball Jackpot, 14 million. Classic Jackpot, 5 million. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. We got lots to discuss. Order fans, you don't have to worry. You don't have to question anymore. Bruce Cassidy, not an option. Kelly McCrimmon said they did grant a team permission to speak with Bruce Cassidy. I would guess that team was Toronto, and it didn't work out there. Now maybe it was LA, but I don't know if they would go in the division. It's within their right. You don't have to like it, but it's within their right. I actually don't mind the decision. I think you get rid of the coach, fine. You're paying him. He's making money. You just don't want him to go to your arch rival. Because make no mistake, Edmonton is Vegas's arch rival in the division. LA hasn't won a playoff series since 2014. It's not them. The Ducks finally won one, And Vegas beat them. And they beat a depleted Oilers team with some serious injuries down the middle. It's not them. It sure as heck ain't the Flames. It's not Seattle. It's not Vancouver. It's not the Sharks yet. And who knows how long until the Sharks are good. We'll see. They got to get some defensemen before we can jump on the Sharks are ready to compete for the Stanley Cup train. I would say that's a ways away from here. So, now, Jesse Granger actually just sent out a tweet clarifying that Cassidy was given permission midway point of the playoffs. So maybe it was LA, or maybe it was a team that didn't even announce they were looking for a coach. Although that's rare in the offseason. Rare. But either way, Cassidy is not coming to Edmonton. And that doesn't surprise me. I could see it being Toronto. I could see that, right? They're opposite conference, out of the division, way to go. And Jim Hiller, the former assistant in Toronto, the former head coach of the Los Angeles Kings, is now the head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And does it mean they're going to coach the exact same system as saw in LA? I don't think so. Because if you want to bring in the 1-3-1, man, I don't see how that is that's going to be great. Honestly, I don't see it. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me. So we'll see what they do. Meanwhile, the Oilers and their fans, everything, they're waiting for the investigation to be done. The Oilers they're pot committed on Mike Babcock, and unless the NHL changes their mind, Babcock will be returning, or not returning, but he will be the Oilers head coach. Now, who's going to be on his coaching staff? We'll find out. The one thing we haven't heard is on Paul Coffey. All right, we don't know about Paul Coffey. We don't know about Farland. Are those guys staying? Are they going? Will they want Coffey there to ensure that Babcock stays in his lane? Because the one thing Coffey doesn't have much time for is that. Coffey's very straightforward. He's direct, but he's not a dick. So we'll see. Doesn't treat his players with disrespect. The players very much like him. You can be like, I remember when he came in, he just challenged me and said, "Hey, if you're not going to move the puck, then I'll look for other options." That's all he said. Like, he encouraged them. You guys, I want you to make plays, defenseman. Get up in the play, make plays. If you make a mistake, I'll put you right back out there because I think you're better than that. And you can make another play. And trust me, that's a way the players know there's consequences, but you're encouraging them to try to make plays. Pretty good message, I would think. Mike Rupp will join us. We're going to talk Chris Peters from Full Hockey. Andy Petrillo will join us from One Soccer, Amazon Prime, CBC Sports. Talk a little soccer. Struddy will be by. Spec, Dennis Bernstein in the fourth period. We got Tater in the 2-minute warning. I got some stats of the day. We'll get to those early in the first hour of the show today. Of course, the World Cup of Soccer continues on today. Congo ties Portugal. Nice. You also have now England and Croatia just getting going later on today. Ghana and Panama, and then Uzbekistan and Colombia will get going later on tonight. So Canada, of course, tomorrow, 4:00 Edmonton time, Game 2 against Qatar. Should be fun, man. Tomorrow you've got 4 games: Czechia, South Africa, then Switzerland, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Canada, Qatar, and the late game as Mexico taking on South Korea. That should be a really good match. Hey, Qatar, like, what about Group B? You got 4 teams, all with the tie. So big day tomorrow. Should be fun. I can't wait for it. Connor Halley is with us as always. Con man, how you doing?
Doing very good, Jason. Enjoying watching England here, the backup team for myself. I think we got a penalty kick coming up here. So let's hope they don't choke it away. Harry Kane.
Harry Kane, looking for his 9th goal all time in the World Cup. I got some numbers for you about World Cup goals that we're going to get to a little bit later on in the program. Now I know we had it off the top where the guy said it was record breaking goal. No, it was a record tying goal. Just for clarification, I think there's a very good chance that Messi will set the record. Although Mbappe's right behind him, and he could. Who knows? Mbappe's probably going to play another World Cup, I would think. So he'll have a chance. Messi might end his career with the most, but Mbappe could end up passing him. We shall see kind of how it goes from there.
Yeah, yesterday was outstanding. The Stars players showing up.
Yeah.
Holland as well, a couple goals. He's crazy too, because you look at him, he's 6'5".
Oh,
this guy's an animal. And yeah, incredible.
Yeah, he is. He's very good. And Connor Halley in tears as
that sucked.
No goal. No goal.
Pick a corner, hit it hard. Come on.
There you go. I loved it. Didn't do a lot in soccer, but like the free kicks, although obviously never went against a great goalie like they do. So
yeah, that's true.
You got the goalies, and you know what? You got a pot commit as the goalie and kind of guess right a little bit. You can't wait to see the ball in the air. You don't have enough time to react. And so that's what makes the penalty kick always entertaining.
But did he leave the line too quick?
Are they reviewing it?
Oh, they jumped into the 18 too quick.
Ooh, so now they got to redo it. Oh my goodness. Wow. That is that's some tough stuff, man. Tough stuff. So also in the world of sport, did you see last night? The Toronto Blue Jays, they for the first time this year, back-to-back home runs. And I got in our stats of the day, we're going to dive into, if you want to see the struggles of Vladdy Guerrero, just when it comes to a lack of power, you will, I think they're very noticeable when you just look on it. Don't even compare to anybody else around the league. Just look at the Blue Jays team themselves. And so we'll get to that coming up in the program. We got a lot of text line in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. And many of you, I think it's a similar message for many of you that saying, hey, Gregor, do you have any idea why the Oilers are so committed to Babcock? Well, it's a good question. I haven't talked to any of the decision makers on this, to be honest. Because A, they won't say anything until it's official. B, we'll wait for the press conference. Because I got a few questions. It's a valid, I think there's many valid questions that need to be asked if the NHL clears Babcock and allows him back in the NHL as a head coach. Hasn't coached on the bench since November of 2019, 7 years. Was a coach briefly in the summer of 2023 between July, August, and early September, and then resigned. So I never coached a game, never ran training camp, anything like that. So now, speaking of training camp, boys and girls, if there's one positive thing, it's always nice to get positive reminders. And my biggest complaint, and I'll admit that at times it was a little self-centered, but I couldn't stand the 8 preseason games. I'd see other teams playing 6, and you're like, we got to cover 8 games, and man, half of them were, with you might have 5 guys in a roster that were going to be in the NHL. It was tough. But the Oilers announced their preseason schedule. Listen to the dates. September 19th, they'll be at home to Winnipeg. September 22nd, in Winnipeg. September 24th, at Vancouver. September 26th, versus Calgary. Now, Cons, pull up a calendar, but if I'm not mistaken, both of the home preseason games for the Oilers are on Saturdays. If I'm not, like the 19th and the 26th, those are Saturdays, if my calendar memory is correct. Look it up. I could be wrong, but I think it is.
You're right.
Okay, so that's both home games are on Saturday. They're playing at Vancouver this year. I'm guessing that next year they'll probably play, split with Vancouver and Calgary. Right? This year it's a home to Calgary. Next year they're probably in Calgary, vice versa with Vancouver. I could see that happen. But the preseason ends on Saturday the 26th. Now, you might have some teams play on Sunday the 27th, but that means the NHL regular season is likely to begin, just like this past year, on Tuesday, September 29th, or at the latest, Wednesday, September 30th. So that's earlier. Now, remember, they have 2 extra games. But the preseason games are also starting earlier. So training camp, now, if you have the preseason game start on the Saturday, because lots of times training camp used to be the medicals on the Thursday, first skate Friday, and then you play like Sunday. So if they're starting on a Saturday, I'm guessing the Oilers might have medicals on the Tuesday, maybe the Wednesday, and then you have Thursday, Friday. Because training camps are very short. Right? We all know that. So everything's going to be bumped up a little bit earlier this year. So we could have NHL regular season games starting on Wednesday, September 30th, maybe even a few on the 29th. So it will be starting a touch earlier this year. There's also no Olympic break. There is no Four Nations break. It's a rare year for that. So schedule doesn't need to be as condensed. You'll obviously have the All-Star break, but that will be it. So for those of you who are big preseasoners, and remember, veterans who have played 100 NHL games or more can only play a maximum of 2 preseason games. That's it. So if you look on the Edmonton Oilers, the only players who were on the team last year, Matt Savoy, he could play more. Colton Dock, he could play more than 2. And because those guys, I think, have played 86 and 87 games, respectively. Like an Alex Regula, sure, he could play a lot. I think that's it. Spencer Stashny's over 100. Quinn Hudson, obviously, Isaac Howard. So there's some of the players. You're only going to see the veterans twice. Now that's max. They might only play once. We'll see what the decision is by the coach, and the players will have some say in it. But interesting thing to see what happens about that. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Gregor, I forgot about the change in preseason. What a random great stat that made me feel good. Season ticket holder Steve. Hey, yeah, you're a season ticket holder. You had 4 preseason games sometimes, and you're just like, God, I could barely give those games away. So now you have 2. You have 1 extra. I think for people who split the seats, it used to be, there'd be 21 and 20. Now it's 21 and 21. Or I guess if you each get a preseason game, it's a total of 22 games. So there you go. We'll take a quick break. Mike Rupp joins us next. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. This deal's only good till 6 o'clock tonight. We need your credit card to hold the color. Hold the color. Summer package. Winter package. And the ever-famous re-PDI fee. I gotta pay to rebuild the car? Does this sound familiar? At Northgate, we do things differently. We offer 0% financing, a great selection of new, pre-owned vehicles. So if you'd like to do business a different way, stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
Our new McCafe crafted sodas just drinks or something more, like Sprite Berry Bliss, Creamy Strawberry Coke, and Orange Dream, all swirled with fizzy flavor and topped with silky cold foam. Only at McDonald's. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved heavy truck auction is this Thursday at 9 a.m. Featuring tandem, triaxle, and single-axle trucks, including tractors, decks, dumps, man lifts, vacs, pickers, and service trucks. Info at maauctions.com.
Here's what you need to know about Lux Windows. We work hard. We come in early, we stay late, we go above and beyond, and then we go a little further. Not for awards or a pat on the back. We work hard so that choosing our windows and doors is an easy decision for you. It's the Alberta way. It's the Lux way. Everything we are is windows and doors. A company born and bred and made in Alberta.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved industrial auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. Featuring a large selection of 2020 to 2014 Caterpillar, John Deere, and Volvo articulated dump trucks. Info at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by EWEL. Helping you finish your electrical project is their goal. From pot lights to electrical panels, the gear you need is at ewell.ca or in person at one of their Edmonton area locations. ewell.ca, your partners in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through Wednesday afternoon. Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. When you're there, of course, check out the Jason Gregor Show odds boost specials every day. We got a little Jays action. Ooh, look at the 2 pitchers tonight. This one is screaming over. Like, ooh. Scherzer, Mad Max has not had a great year on the bump, nor have the Red Sox. And the Jays, they hit well there. 3 home runs last night. That's like a massive breakout for what has been a light hitting home run team this year for the Jays. But maybe they woke up a little bit last night. Then we got another fun one and even some Elks. And can they pull off the upset against Montreal Saturday afternoon? Dwayne Mandrusiak will be honored at halftime. So good going. And also, we'll have some tickets to send a few of you, some sweet seats to go to the game later on today. Now, let's get to Around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And as you make your way around town, remember that the Collingwood McDonald's is renovating up until June 23rd. So it's getting closer. You got it in a week. They'll be reopened, but you can still grab your faves at the Westgate McDonald's on 90th Avenue. So a week, it'll be reopened on Collingwood. As we are joined by former NHLer, Stanley Cup winner, Game 7 hero, one of the few players that had a 3-point performance in Game 7, Mike Rupp from the NHL Network joins us. Rupper, how you doing?
What's up, Gregs? How are you, buddy?
Dude, now on your bio, does it say Game 7, 3 points? Because it should.
No, it doesn't say that.
It should, buddy.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. It's kind of it's funny because having that game winner. I mean, the game winner in that situation, and we see at times too. It wasn't like hockey's funny like that, right? Like it's still a meaningful goal. I'm not trying to downplay it, but it's the first goal of the game. We end up winning 3-0. It's like 2 minutes into the second period, so it's not like a overtime game winner, like you know what I'm saying, like a blatant that goal defined that game. But it's funny though because guys will come up and be like, "Oh man, you had the game winner." And Patty Maroon just said it to me actually during the Stanley Cup Finals. I think they put something on the screen on the NHL Network. He goes, "Wait, you had 3 points?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh my god!" He's like, "That's even better than the game winner." So I'm like,
"Of course,
buddy."
Hey, guess what? When Mike Rupp was off the ice in Game 7, the score was 0-0. When Mike Rupp was on the ice, it was 3-0.
The other team couldn't get anything past Marty Brodeur, so all we had to do was get one. Just get one, and I was fortunate enough to be the one.
Oh, that's good. That's good. But hey, when you tell your kids that story, I'd hope that like any bedtime story, it's augmented a little bit, right? That's how it should be. Dad, how did you score again? Well, kids, let me tell you. Oh, can I watch the video? No, it's not available.
Unavailable.
Right? There's no video available. Yes. The Carolina Hurricanes got their Stanley Cup victory. It's been a kind of a long run for them under Rod Brind'Amour. Very consistent team, and consistent in the sense that they could never really had any success past the second round until this year. And when you win, you need a lot of good things to happen to you. Right, you need your star guys to show up. You need some surprise guys like Jordan Staal at the age of 37 to score 6 goals in the first 5 games of the Cup. That's how you win, Rupper. Right, like it's like Mike Rupp getting 3 points in Game 7. Right, like you need some unexpected situations to occur for a team to win.
You do. You need. I mean, as much as we want in sports, to the big guys, the big names, the guys who get paid the most. I mean, those are the guys that sell tickets that are the reason why you get into a place that you're at. And what I mean by that is let's just use Carolina as an example, just how their top line was not really that dominant in the playoffs. I mean, not many teams can make it all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals and hoist the cup with their guys not really going or their big guys not fully going. I don't know any other team that maybe could do that. This team just kind of had the it factors at different times. I mean, think about it where even the first 3 rounds, Freddie Anderson was pretty darn good. And this team defended really, really well. People will complain about the opponents maybe, but at the end of the day, you still got to win. And they did win in a dominant fashion. So then you have the Stankoven line led this team throughout the playoffs, but had some moments where they were like the only line going and they were just almost single-handedly getting wins for them. And then you get into the finals and it's kind of like Stalzy's turn and that line, and you had Ehlers who had a huge moment in the playoffs, and he was solid. So, and then Bussy comes in and has his. So it's a collection of moments. I think in theory we want it to be like, well, this is how our team's built. We're gonna have Connor McDavid's gonna have 15 points every round, and we're just gonna mow through everybody. That's not how it goes down. It's not how it happens. I think that's a good example with Carolina. Just somebody having moments at the right time.
And this just coming down, the Buffalo Sabres have traded Michael Kesselring and the 27th pick in this year's draft to the San Jose Sharks for the 20th pick in the draft. And it's interesting because I saw Steve Ellis. We had him on the other day, and he thinks there's kind of a drop-off after 19 or 20. So the Sabres feel like, hey, we got to get up there. And it's a little bit of a salary dump for Michael Kesselring. I know a lot of people are like, here in Edmonton, oh my God, Kesselring's so dominant. And I'm like, well, he didn't really play in Buffalo, but San Jose, it's a good bet for them. They dropped 7 spots to get an NHL defenseman on a team that has no NHL defenseman.
Yeah, I like this trade. I saw it right when I was logging on with you here. I'm a big Kesselring guy. It just never was able to get his footing there in Buffalo. He was hurt, and then by the time he's trying to work his way back in and find his way, he missed quite a bit of time. This team kind of went on their run and their roll, and he was kind of the odd man out. So I think there's a lot there, a lot of promise in him, and this is a team in San Jose they need to revitalize this decor. They need to build this thing up. So I think this is like a shrewd little move here. What is it? You're going from, was it 27 to 20? 20 to 27 in Kesselring. So it's like it's almost just like taking a flyer on him. I think it'll work out, and he'll get his feet settled and underneath him there in San Jose. He could do a little bit of everything. I like him.
Yeah, I think this is a trade where kind of works well for both sides. And you know what? Hey, it's 3 days in a row, Rupper. We're on a 3-day trading streak in the NHL. I hope it extends to 5, 6, or 7 because there's lots of rumblings. There's lots of rumors out there for trades and such. Not a trade, but Hiller goes from LA to Toronto. What do you make of the new bench boss for the Maple Leafs?
So, I mean, I was surprised by that one probably, but I don't know. And that doesn't mean it's not a good hire. I just don't, I think Jim Hiller is highly revered from the guys he's coached before. And I'm assuming that that's where this kind of came into play of guys who've had him discussed how he is. I've always heard guys love playing for him. That's not the only reason why you hire a coach, but it's part of the puzzle. So we'll see how it works there. This is a fascinating thing going on in Toronto because it's just when we sat here and kind of looked at and maybe even read between the lines when they made their hires, it sounded like, casting this big net. It's going to be, I think the idea was originally it's going to be this up and coming new kind of analytics driven young coach getting the first opportunity. And then the first names we started hearing out of the gate were not that. And then we kind of questioned what those names were. And then, so maybe they just going across and just getting coaches of all kinds and walks. And this is one that they did some research on and took their time with. So yeah, it was surprising, but that doesn't mean anything. Maybe it's better to do something a little bit different. Because I'm always thinking of Toronto going and getting the biggest name coach out there, and it generally doesn't work. So we'll see what happens, but I know the guys love playing for him.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Like, hey, just because you play a system in LA doesn't guarantee you're going to play the exact same system on a different team, right? Like that's, right. I've found that somewhat comical that people think a coach can only play one way. Like now there's certain, Rod Brindamore likes playing attacking style, but that's their team that they try to acquire players who can play that way, right? I don't think Toronto, like LA's style has always been. And I do think that Ken Holland wanted to change it. That's why they acquired Panarin. And they were like, okay, we've got to switch how we play. Mm-hmm. And obviously, Peter Laviolette has always played more of an up-tempo style. So they think it fits there. And, Jim Hiller thought maybe it's going to be too difficult to change for that. Who knows? But the Vegas Golden Knights come out and they're like, hey, and no surprise here, Rupper, that Kelly McGrimmon says, yeah, we did grant Cassidy permission to speak to one team, but it's on a team-by-team basis. He ain't doing it to Edmonton, and I actually understand why they wouldn't. Like, you're paying him, so you can't. I know that some people say, "Wow, that's unfair," and I get that. And I think Oilers fans are saying that because it impacts their team. But he's getting paid. He signed a contract. There's really nothing to complain about, really.
Yeah, no, it's. I told you this on here before. I think it's the right business for Vegas, and that's what his job is. So I wouldn't be trying to give any kind of asset, make any kind of asset available to the Edmonton Oilers if I was them. I mean, that's just the way it is. So people are going to say, well, you fired him, but that's fine. But under the rules and the way things are written, they don't have to do anything. So I don't expect it to happen. But I do expect, like you just mentioned, to hear a little bit more of allowing him to speak to different teams. And maybe those teams are in the East. Maybe those teams are, for whatever reason, they allow those. That's fine. Because I think at the end of the day, you don't want to mess with, I guess, a guy's livelihood and want to go and coach. He's a coach. Coaches want to coach. So, but it depends where it's at. And I'm good with that.
Yeah. The Edmonton Oilers are obviously going to wait out here, and lots of people have seen some suggestions that I think when the investigation's done that Babcock will still be allowed to coach, and they're going to stick with it. What do you make of that decision?
Yeah, I mean, I think the knee jerk for people or players are going to be maybe even players outside of Edmonton that aren't there. Edmonton's going to be talking to some players during July 1st. You know what I mean? So you're going to have play. I think there's going to be some questions there. There's probably a little bit of concern as who's coaching the team, and if it is him and it's announced before then, does that impact that? because there's a huge draw for Edmonton with the guys they have there. I wouldn't say that this is going to help that. I don't know how much it's going to hurt it, but I think for what guys hear out there and the narrative out there on Mike Babcock is, I don't want to play for that guy. So again, I never played for him. I don't know. I can only go off of things you hear. I don't know if things have changed and he's a different coach now or whatever that is. But I think that would be something that if I was a player and I was happy and with the opportunity to go play with Connor or Leon, that would be a question that would need to be asked. Like, what can we talk to the coach? Can we, like, where are we at here? So I think that's something that could work maybe against them in some ways.
Oh, I agree, man. I had an agent reach out to me. His exact quote was the opportunity to play on a team with McDavid and Draisaitl is diminished by being coached by Babcock. That was his exact quote. And he says he's had some players suggest that. And then as I put that out there, I had other agents reach out to me. And I can tell you, Rupper, I've been doing this for a long time. I can't recall ever sending out a tweet about a comment about a player, coach, or whatever that created that much of response from one tweet from people. And so it's a clear issue. And we'll see if the Oilers, maybe they don't care, but I think they'd be naive to think that it's not going to be an issue for some people.
Yeah, no, it would impact the situation for sure. I mean, you're talking about free agency, like you have pros and cons lists between teams, and you write all that down, and you have all that. This is what's good about this team. This is what's not. A coach is pretty high on that list. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, 100%. So here we are. We're about 9 days away from the NHL draft, Rupper. And then we got free agency in exactly 2 weeks from today. And the list of free agents is not very long. Lots of teams have more money. How many surprising deals do you think we're going to see July 1st, 2nd, 3rd? Like guys, big money.
I think there's going to be some because of those, what you're insinuating there. Like there's money's got to be spent. So yeah, you're going to get some deals like that. I mean, I think the big thing that we're going to see is because of the way things have played out over the last year with guys coming off the market, with guys re-signing with their respective clubs, there's always buzz around the draft. And I think a lot of times we focus about and with the draft is the time for moves to be made, maybe big moves. Now, I anticipate that to happen too. But I wonder if there's going to be some in the UFA season as well, because that's generally not a time you see too much player movement that way, right? Like it's signings, it's guys who are acquired because they're a free agent. I don't know. I just think this is a very unique season of player movement where you have teams. There's a lot of teams that need. Let's use center iceman as an example. That's a huge topic amongst teams. I just feel like there's not many available. There's really none available in the UFA market, high-end centers. So now you're going to talk about, all right, well, who are the ones that are out there? It's going to cost a lot. How long is that list? There's been some big names out there. I don't know. I just think that we're going to see a lot of player movement via trade, not just at the draft, but bleeding into July 1st as well. So that's at least what I guess or I think. But to your point, yeah, there's going to be a few contracts just because you basically got this wad of cash that you got to spend, and you might have some players, probably a select few players are going to make out in a big way.
Yeah, that's fair. One last one for you. Ryan Craig was an assistant coach in Vegas right from the beginning, from 2018 for 6 years to 23. So lost a cup, won a cup. Then he's been the head coach in Henderson for the last 3 seasons. Now he comes back. And historically, Rupper, coaches who go from assistant coach to head coach, it's difficult. Now, he did have 3 years away, and there are some new players on the team for sure, right? Hurdle, Marner, other guys like that he hasn't coached. That's totally valid. But lots of the core guys are still there. What do you make of when an assistant guy, because you kind of go from being, the patter on the back, the rah-rah guy, to now going to be the guy who has to clamp down? And your first head coaching gig. What do you make of that situation for him?
Well, he's getting a great team. So I think that's a great start for him. And there's a relationship already there. But to your point, like that relationship might have to be a little different with some of the players that maybe have been there over the years with Ryan Craig, who's involved as an assistant role. This organization doesn't have a ton of guys necessarily. Maybe this year they had quite a few, but up from Henderson, like they're a team they've always traded away their high picks. Like they're not really bringing guys up from the minors. Like you're creating big roster moves via trade from NHL players. So there's not a ton, I would think, that are on roster that he's coached necessarily in Henderson. But I'll just use from example in my career. There's times where I've had assistant coaches, and there's an assistant coach that I had in particular that he was my favorite coach I probably ever had as far as assistant coaching, just the way he kind of connected with his players individually. And that's a special thing that assistant coaches need to have in the repertoire. He was a head coach somewhere else. I talked to some guys there as a head coach. Guys didn't really connect with him. It was different. Like you can't still be that same guy. You've got to learn how to navigate that a little differently. I've also had guys who were assistant coaches that I didn't care for, that went on to be head coaches and have quite a bit of success in this league because they're almost built to be head coaches more than assistant coaches. If any of that makes any sense, like you've got the assistant coach was always that one that connected on a little bit of a different level. So now you got to go be the head coach, and it's tough. It's tough. I've seen some coaches kind of try to keep it in the same lane and try to navigate it, and it may work for some time, but at some point you're going to have to squeeze the guys and really lean on them, and that's where you're like all of a sudden now, oh, you're not our buddy anymore, and that's where things get a little bit muddy.
Yeah, so I'll be interested to see kind of where it goes, and more so like who he brings in on his staff as well. So because younger, I have no problem bringing in a younger coach. I kind of like it, to be honest. I think
I do too.
Some of the retreads just get a little bit too old here in the National Hockey League. It's like you think there's only 35 coaches and you just got to rotate between them all. I think that's kind of dumb. So it's good to see some new blood in there. I just think sometimes it's difficult to have your first one on a team where you're always the assistant. Rupper, have yourself a great day. We'll talk to you the rundown on Friday, and maybe the trade streak will have reached 5 days by then. We can
let's hope for it. Thanks, Greg.
That's Mike Rupp from the NHL Network. Quick break. We'll come back, and we got a few doozies for you in our stats of the day here on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all sevens. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a fully warranted center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
Cattail Crossing Golf and Winter Club. Fun and friendly with morning rates Monday to Thursday. Just $65 for 18 holes with cart. $55 for seniors. Includes a $5 food voucher for dining at Cattail's Out of Bounds restaurant. There's early bird golf Saturday and Sunday. $50 for 9 holes with cart and snack voucher. 9 and dine Fridays after 4. $130 per pair for 9 holes cart and a $40 Out of Bounds gift card. Plus, Glow Golf every second Friday and bring your dog golfing on Mondays. Visit cattailcrossing.ca.
Just in time for the big game, score big savings at the Brick. Save up to $1,300 off sofas, up to 25% off bedroom and dining packages, plus save up to 40% on select mattresses. And buy more, save more, up to $1,000 off select major appliances. Watch Team Canada score big on a big screen TV, up to 50% off open box electronics. See store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
It's like a locker room, minus the smell.
Ew.
Kevin Carius brings the banter, the buzz, and the bold sports talk. Weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Sports 1440, Edmonton's home for sports.
You may get up early, but more than likely, the team at GS Construction have already gotten up before you, grabbed a coffee, headed to the site, and started their day. So while Edmonton wakes up, GS crews are already underground, quietly keeping things moving, upgrading, and laying the new underground infrastructure for our growing city. If you're the kind of person who goes to sleep with their steel-toed boots on, GS Construction wants to hear from you. We're looking for a maintenance foreman as well as a building and yard attendant. Visit gsconstruction.ca for more.
Shoulder pain. It can make even the simplest things like reaching up, lifting a bag, brushing your teeth, or sleeping frustrating. Rotator cuff strains, impingement, arthritis, they're some of the most common issues we treat every day. I'm Grant Fedoruk, and at Leading Edge Physio, our team brings postgraduate training, evidence-based technology, and just the right amount of humor and humility to help you feel better. Because we never forget the most important part, the gratitude we feel for every patient who allows us the opportunity to care for them. Because life shouldn't hurt. When it does, leadingedgephysio.com.
Wendy's 99-cent Frosty is back, and Frosty farmers couldn't be happier. Made with Canadian dairy, they grow up cool, creamy, and mighty thick. It's farm to Frosty. Get a small 99-cent Frosty until August 2nd at participating Wendy's. Taxes extra.
School's almost out, and road trip season is just around the corner. But if your brakes sound like they're grinding harder than a hockey fourth liner, it might be time to visit Napa Auto Parts. Napa has all the quality parts, tools, and know-how to help keep your vehicle running smoothly and road ready. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Get ready, outdoor enthusiasts, for the Kalmar Gun Show. Head to the Kalmar Hockey Arena Friday 3 till 8, Saturday 10 till 6, Sunday 10 till 3 for the premier event to buy, sell, and trade the best in hunting and sporting gear. Visit
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.246, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. And the big stars, well, except maybe Cristiano Ronaldo, but Harry Kane now following the footsteps. He's already got 2 goals so far today. England off to a 2-0 lead in their first game at the World Cup yesterday. Mbappe, but we'll get to all that coming up in our stats of the day. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We should mention Cons, Mad Max, no longer pitching tonight. He's being placed on 15-day IL, so they'll be making a change in the rotation for the Toronto Blue Jays for tonight's game. And it looks like so it's going to be a bullpen start. So Fisher will probably pitch 1 inning, and then away they go. Man, they got a lot of bullpen starts this year. It's crazy. So Mad Max just can't stay healthy, and Father Time has caught up with him. What's he getting paid? Like $12 million this year, just to rehab. Like, I'm sure it's not fun for him. Don't get me wrong, but it's good money for rehabbing. I think he's made 6 starts so far.
Max 13 mil.
Yeah, that's the max.
The max, yeah.
Okay.
With back spasms too, so feel like that's something that can linger.
Ooh, yeah. Let's get to our stats of the day, brought to you by All Star Construction, specialized in underground utilities, power, gas, telecommunications, street lighting, directional drilling. If it interests you, they're hiring. You got experience? Look up All Star Construction. As our stats of the day, we got quite a few of them. So let's start with the World Cup. So I mentioned Kylian Mbappe. He scored twice in France's 3-1 win. So that moved him up to 14 goals, which was into third place. But later on, Lionel Messi got a hat trick, which moved him into a tie, leapfrog both Mbappe and a few others, and ties the great German striker Miroslav Klose for the most goals in World Cup history with 16. And if you look at the list of all-time scorers at the World Cup, of course, you got some pretty big names. Right there, Klose and Messi at 16, Ronaldo from Brazil at 15, Gerd Müller and Mbappe at 14, and Just Fontaine, who only played in one. He has 13 goals in 6 matches. Now, 1958, still, doesn't matter to me. Pele played there. He played in 58, 62, 66, 70, and he ended up with 12 goals in 14 matches. Just Fontaine had 13 goals in only 6 matches. I'd have to look it up. Like, did something happen to him? Why did he only play one time? It's a hell of a scoring, man. And what about Sandor Kocsis out of Hungary? He has 11 goals in only 5 matches, way back in one time at the World Cup in 1954. So Messi's next goal will give him the outright lead. Mbappe's on his heels. Mbappe most likely is going to play in 2030, so he would have a chance then to pass Messi. It's interesting knowing, though, that Cristiano Ronaldo has 8 goals now, but he's played 24 matches. Like Lionel Messi has 16 goals in 27. Mbappe has 14 goals in 15 matches. Ronaldo at the World Cup hasn't been the big-time scorer that he is everywhere else. Kind of crazy. Now, the Blue Jays last night hit back-to-back homers for the first time all season. And it was Schneider and Jimenez going back-to-back jacks. Springer hit another home run later, and they win 6-1. So the Jays are now up. They've got 73 homers in 72 games. They rank 22nd in home runs in MLB. Last year, they were tied for 11th with 191. They're on pace for like 167. Not great. They're 9th in doubles. They're 9th in batting average at 249. But they're 23rd in on-base percentage at 314. 20th in slugging percentage at 390. And 21st in on-base plus slugging percentage at 704. Vladdy Guerrero has 3 home runs this year. He's tied for 9th on the team with Schneider. Vladdy's had 250 at-bats. Schneider's had 80. Hell, Miles Straw has 2 home runs. Like, Vladdy's lack of power, man, has been absolutely stunning to me. Stunning. Now, to the CFL, the Elks taking on the Alouettes on Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock. Davis Alexander comes in. He's 13-0 to start his career. The greatest start in CFL history to a career by a quarterback, 14-0, Bo Levi Mitchell. So Alexander will try to tie that. Now, Alexander comes in leading the CFL in pass attempts, 80, pass completions, 56, passing yards, 777, and passing touchdowns with 4. His 2 top receivers, no surprise, they're first and second in receiving yards. Tyson Philpott, 16 catches for 269 yards and 3 touchdowns. It's not bad. He's averaging 135 yards a game. Tyler Snead has 14 catches and 225 yards. Now, Rankin leads the CFL. He had 196 offensive yards in his only game. That's obviously the most per game right now. 94 receiving, 102 rushing. So there's potential. Now, keep in mind, Chad Kelly threw for 445 yards in the loss for Toronto against Montreal. I'm telling you, the Elks offense, there are plays to be made if they can get the ball downfield. Because Montreal, they leave guys out on islands. They really do. Cody Fajardo, they're going to have to dip and dunk sometimes for sure, especially to get Rankin the ball in his hands. So Rankin had 94 receiving yards. 92 were yards after the catch. So most of his plays, they pass the ball sometimes at the line of scrimmage. It's a swing pass. Boom, he runs the rest of the way. And it's great. It's kind of like a running play, but it's considered a receiving play. Makes sense. Or like, you don't see Rankin running routes, a 15-yard curl pattern. It's not really what he's doing, right? Get him out into space and he'll dominate. But he had 18 touches last game. I know that they would like to get the ball into his hands more. The rain had something to do with it. So that'll be it. But other guys downfield, You're going to have to throw the ball, and they're going to have to find. Now, not deep downfield, because Fajardo just simply doesn't have the arm. He's not airing it out 50 yards in the air. But 25, 30, yes. And that's where you're going to need guys like Mack and others, because you got a rookie safety for the Argos. And their best defensive player, last I checked, they're not certain if he's going to play on Saturday, which is great news for the Elks. So if you're going to the game, you could see some offense. A lot of passing yards, a lot of big plays. Could be fun. Like, look at Montreal, how they won that game. Like, in the fourth quarter, that's really why they're 2-0. They outscored Hamilton 10-3 and then won in overtime. And they outscored Toronto 20-10. Right? They've outscored teams 30-13 in the fourth quarter. So the Elks can't sit back. Montreal loves being aggressive. That Davis Alexander, man, he's an old school gunslinger. He just wants to throw the ball all the time. As I mentioned, they've got 80 pass attempts. They've had 25 rush attempts, and 6 of them are quarterback sneaks. So they've really, it's like a 4-to-1 ratio on passes to passing or handoffs to the running back, 80-19. So we know what they're going to do. It's going to be up to the Elks defense. Can they slow them down? And this is a great test for the Elks. Great test. And I'm curious to see how they do it. Now, Harry Kane, as we were talking about, he scored 2 goals today. So he moves up now, and he's into the group with Gary Lineker and Mueller and many others who have 10 goals at the World Cup. So he's in a tie for 9th place. Helmut Rahn from West Germany. Lineker, of course. Batista from Argentina. Kubilius from Peru. So good for Harry. Now, Connor, what happened? What happened? Weren't they up 2-0?
2-1. 2-1. Yeah, I know. It was kind of defensive breakdowns, leaving men unmarked to wide open. No chance for the keeper on those. I'm a little worried. Croatia's kind of worked the ball in, generated good opportunities. England's relied on a screw up by Croatia on a penalty kick and then a corner kick. So a little more generated pressure. The stats very even, though, between these two teams after the first half. Possession, 50-50. So should be a great second half.
Yeah. Oh, buddy. It's great. If you like offense, it's been unreal. Unreal today. Coming up in the next hour on the show, Chris Peters will join us. We're going to get into some drafting. I love Chris. He's very in-depth. I've worked with him in the past about the NHL draft. So we'll talk to Chris. Andy Petrillo will join us. We got Struddy, Speck, Bernstein. So loaded final 3 hours of the show as we get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Hire Good. For professional property services you can feel good about, get Hire Good. Site cleanup, debris removal, seasonal maintenance, and more. Stable jobs create stable lives. HireGood.ca.
The Sports 1440 update.
One day after announcing John Tortorella would not return to the team next season, the Vegas Golden Knights found their future head coach in Brian Craig, who becomes the 5th head coach in franchise history. He led the AHL's Henderson Silver Knights affiliate team for the past 3 seasons. Jim Hiller's been in the 41st head coach in Maple Leafs history. Earlier today, Hiller spent parts of the last 3 seasons coaching the LA Kings before being fired in March. And the San Jose Sharks have acquired Michael Kestering and the 27th overall pick from Buffalo for the 20th overall pick in the upcoming NHL entry draft. The World Cup continuing on earlier today. Portugal and Congo 1-1 draw right now. England and Croatia tied at 2 at halftime. Later on tonight, Ghana takes on Panama from Toronto. Then in Mexico City at 8, Colombia up against Uzbekistan. Major League Baseball Blue Jays are in action this evening, taking on the Red Sox. First pitch 4:45. We'll join that one in progress following the Jason Gregor Show. Max Scherzer scheduled to start. He's been placed on the 15-day IL with back spasms, retroactive to June 14. The team has recalled right-handed pitcher Chad Dallas from AAA. He'll be active this evening. Elsewhere, you have the Padres and the Cards in the top of the 9th. San Diego leading 6-1 in the 6th. Dodgers trail the race 4-3, and the Diamondbacks have a 6-1 lead heading into the 5th. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Chris Peters, and we look at the NHL draft, and Andy Petrillo will stop by to talk the Leafs head coaching hire and the World Cup. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Say hello to your new favorite drinks. Introducing new McCafe Refreshers. Icy cool, undeniably refreshing, and available in 3 flavors. Strawberry watermelon, mango pineapple, and blackberry passion fruit. Only at McDonald's.
Okay. New strategy. I'll just live in the freezer till October. It's spacious in here. It's spacious.
There's a better way to survive the coming AC season. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. We offer convenient financing options and fast appointments so you can enjoy your entire home, not just the freezer.
Now I can leave the frozen peas where they belong.
Book now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
Craving a dining experience that rises above the rest? Head to Summit Restaurant in the Silent Ice Center, just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Savor exceptional house-made pizza, delectable entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails in a stylish, modern atmosphere. Perfect for a casual meal or a special night out. Summit offers a refined experience where every bite and sip reflects our dedication to quality. Elevate your dining experience. Make Summit Restaurant your destination tonight.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Cantork has always been a forward-thinking company, but now that we've turned 25, I can't help but take a minute to take a look back. Thank you to everyone that's been with us along the way.
Jason Gregor isn't just a sports guy. He's a community builder with over $3 million raised for local charities. And his Gregor Foundation, he's making a difference on and off the air. Check out Gregor weekday afternoons on Sports 1440.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Saturday, June 20th is the day to be at Harley-Davidson of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Trail. Come live the legend because the HD semi-truck is rolling in, bringing you the exclusive chance to test ride the powerful new 2026 models. All you need is your riding gear and Class 6 license to ride. Be there to enter to win a 2026 Liberty Edition Heritage Classic, door prizes, and more. Don't miss the ultimate ride event of the summer. Locally owned and operated since 1980. Visit Harley-Davidson of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Trail or at hdedmonton.com.
Albertans love to debate the best way to enjoy summer sports.
No. Playing on the field is the best, man.
No way. Watching from the sidelines, way more relaxing.
You're both crazy. Checking out the game from the Bro Zone is where it's at.
But there's one thing every sports fan agrees on.
Wilhock Beef Jerky.
Wherever you catch the action, load up on Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhock Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Heavy Truck Auction is this Thursday at 9 a.m. Featuring tandem, tri-axle, and single-axle trucks, including tractors, decks, dumps, man lifts, vacs, pickers, and service trucks. Info at maauctions.com.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, jersey barriers, and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Industrial Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. Featuring a large selection of 2020 to 2014 Caterpillar, John Deere, and Volvo articulated dump trucks. Info at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
just after 3 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. I was looking up Jess Fontaine cons and during the break, and injury forced his career to be cut short. Only got one World Cup appearance, but it looked like he was a hell of a player. The lack of what we had back in 58 to fix injuries compared to now. Like, and that's why I think sometimes, like, a lot of athletes and everybody kind of takes it for granted that when you have a serious knee injury, and others, like, it wasn't that long ago, you suffered a serious knee injury, you were done. Like, you rarely could come back from it. Nowadays, like, heck, now sometimes it takes long. Ask Gabriel Landeskog. Now his wasn't knee, but, you know, injuries, hips, back, whatever. But the advancements in rehabilitation and even just how they do surgeries now are so much less invasive than it used to be. And, you know, it's wonderful for athletes. But, you know, when you look back and when we talk about some of the greats of the past, if they would have had the exact same opportunities, how many goals would have Jess Fontaine scored? I have no idea, but he scored 13 in one tournament. He had 13 in 6 games. Messi, who's currently the leader, tied for it. He had 16 in 27 games. So it's just it's kind of how it goes, man. As time evolves, there's there is advantages for each generation. That's what you'd like to do. You'd like to get better in some states. We could argue that in some situations in our life, well, we have gotten better in some, and others maybe we've taken step backs in communication and some other things for certain. So welcome back. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And coming up next Friday, the NHL entry draft. And if you go to playalberta.ca, you know what? You can get in on players and on their draft position, on where you think they're going to go. Who do you think's going number 2 overall? McKenna going number 1 to Toronto? We'll see. What does our next guest say? This guy puts in a lot of time working and studying on draft prospects. As we get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Ice Center, where they are hosting a pretty big guest, Gene Simmons, in concert in a smaller little venue. I love it. Great opportunity. If you're a fan of Gene, I think you want to be there. Get your tickets at silenticecenter.com. And from Flow Hockey, NHL draft prospect analyst Chris Peters joins us once again. Chris, welcome back to the show, my man. How you doing?
Jason, I'm doing well. Ready to get the draft going here, and then also get it over with so I can sleep again.
Yeah, I would think so. So when, like, can you kind of, how many hours do you think you put in, scouring over film and watching games, to make your list for scouting?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, it's changed over the years, especially like in my current role. I have a lot of different duties, so I've had to kind of consolidate, make sure that I'm, managing the time better. But I mean, the thing is, the prospect season typically goes essentially from, the beginning of August or end of July, even all the way through the end of the draft. So, over the course of time, you think about the many months that goes into it. I wouldn't even probably be able to put a number on it. I obviously see a lot of games live over the course of the season, a lot of video, and you try to make sure that every single guy that you think has a chance to go in the, probably the top 100, you have a really good handle on, and then you've got at least a knowledge base on guys that are going to be available in the, in the later rounds as well. So, you try to take that approach and really, I think for those of us that are in the kind of the public sphere, I suppose, it's really about trying to get the top of that draft as close to accurate as you can. So you do tend to spend a lot more time on, like, a list of probably 40 to 50 guys that you're watching. So those are the guys you're spending the most amount of time on. And I'm sure each player ends up, many hours of individual work on each of those players.
One of the players, of course, we've heard about for a long time is Gavin McKenna, wingers in Medicine Hat. Then he goes to Penn State, and he didn't put up as big of numbers, and some people are freaking out. And the usual, some people always try to find holes in players' games. I know at Flow Hockey, you say comparable is Artemi Panarin. So my question is, what is, when Panarin's a great example, but what do you see as the difference between a Patrick Kane and a Gavin McKenna?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good question. I mean, I think Kane probably had a bit more kind of evidence of being, even though he was smaller, I think that he was more willing to get beyond the perimeter. And, I think that when we think about Artemi Panarin and think about Gavin McKenna, the one knock really is that there's not a ton of interior play. And, obviously guys get find ways to score. And I think Gavin has done that and has been really impressive in that way. I think that Kane was just a factor all across the offensive zone and, definitely a more gifted goal scorer and, probably similar in the playmaking ability, but also had this just insane hand skill. And while McKenna definitely does, I don't think he necessarily has that same dynamic element to the level of a Patrick Kane, who was special in that regard. So I think that that's one thing. He does have a little bit of a size advantage on Kane, but not a whole lot. And yeah, I mean, I think for Gavin, it's been really, you look at the offensive tools and that's pretty incredible. And I think, similarly, Kane was knocked for not really having a great game away from the puck in his younger days. I think you could say the same thing about Gavin in that, you look at the Penn State and the thing, he actually had a really productive season, really impressive season. There was a lot of things offensively, but defensively, the question was how, with the amount of ice time Penn State was giving him, was that actually helping the team a whole lot? And when you look at kind of even his last stretch of the season, his team, he was often a minus coming out of those games with the amount that he played. So the question was, were they actually, how much was he really helping them or not, just because the two-way play just isn't there?
Yeah, that's fair. So the one player, and honestly, I've seen very little of him. He's the one guy in the draft that I probably know the least about amongst the top players, and that's Stenberg out of Sweden. And I know that I've seen some comparisons to another Swedish player in Lucas Raymond, which, comparisons, usually we always make the comparisons the best case scenario lots of times. But so when you look at Stenberg, and how close do you think it is between him and McKenna? What are the similarities in their game and what are the differences in their game?
Yeah, so I think the gap between them is very small. And the similarities are that offensively they both have the ability to make and finish a lot of plays, and that's a real driver there. Stenberg did it at the professional level, and had the highest scoring draft season of a draft eligible player since the Sedin twins in that league. And I think the biggest separator between the two is I think that Stenberg has a bit more of a completeness to his game. He's not as dynamic as McKenna. He's not as skilled as McKenna. I don't think he'll score as much, but I do think his play away from the puck is much more advanced. I think that he has a willingness to compete off the puck more, and that helps a lot. They're similar in size, but Stenberg is certainly stronger at this point. And so he's able to kind of handle those tougher kind of plays where he's getting, mugged, and he can fight through that a little bit better. So I think those are the primary things that, what ultimately separated them for me is that McKenna, to me, that offensive skill set, the opportunity to potentially be a 100-point winger is a little bit higher than I think, like Stenberg. And, you have the Raymond comparable, that's the other thing. He's a guy that has a lot of, good play off the puck. Maybe he's not going to score at a 100-point level, but he's going to probably get pretty close. And I think that's obviously still a very valuable player.
Lots of good defensemen, especially at the top 10 in this draft, right? You got Chase Reed, and you got Carson Carrolls, and you got Keaton Bearhoff, and Albert Smiths. You got Daxon Rudolph for sure. I think, lots of people feel those five will go in the top. Now, just because one guy's drafted first doesn't mean he's going to be the best of them. Sometimes I think situation matters to the team you go to, an opportunity, etc. I think most feel that Reed's the best offensive one. Who do you think has the best defending instincts of those 5?
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's Carl's. I think he's a really good player, and he still gives you a lot of offense on top of it.
Okay.
He's definitely the much more physically committed defender of those guys. I think Smiths is in that similar realm. But Carl's to me is the guy that really has that ability to be a stopper. I think I look at a guy like Charlie McAvoy who really has good two-way skills. And actually the knock on Charlie in his draft year was that he didn't, we weren't sure if the offense was going to be there at the level that I think it has been at the NHL level. And so you've got a guy like Carl's who had, 70 points this year and is a pretty committed defender. That's a really exciting thing. Now he's headed to North Dakota next year, which is a place that has really done a good job of being a finishing school for high-level NHL defensemen, including Jake Sanderson, who I think is another guy that you could potentially look at with the way that Carl skates and other things that he does. That's another guy to kind of emulate for him. So I think he's in a really good situation developmentally going forward.
The local boy, Keaton Verhoff. Tell me what you like about him.
Yeah, I mean, I think for him, it's just this incredible size package. I think he's got really good mobility on top of that. He has two-way skills, but I think, he's still kind of figuring out what he needs to be as a 6'4" defenseman with that mobility. So he's got a bomb of a shot too. It's an incredible shot from the point. Was obviously a gifted scorer as a 16-year-old in the WHL before he did go to North Dakota. And, I think the biggest thing for him right now that we're trying to figure out is where, does he have the hockey sense at an elite enough level to potentially be a top pairing defenseman? And that's going to be the question. I think that's why you've seen him fall a little bit on some boards after being a guy that we talked about as a potential number 2 pick in this draft. So, part of that is just making reads, making the right decisions, making sure you're jumping into the plays at the right time. And I thought, we saw a little bit of that at North Dakota. There was some ups and downs. Then at the under-18 World Championship, I think a lot of us expected him to be dominant against his own age group. He wasn't. And I think that created some more kind of doubt. But I still think that the athletic toolkit, the size, the skating, all the different things that he can do and bring to the table, the upside remains very high with that player. And it's just a matter of maturing and learning, and also just continuing to get stronger, because he could really be a physically dominant player if he wants to be.
And Chris, I think this is one of the key things when I talk about development for teams. It's the teams that don't get sucked into rushing their young player to the NHL, where he loses confidence and doesn't play as much. And a lot of times it can take them longer. Now, some guys can come in and they're ready. Awesome. I think there's lots of players sometimes that get rushed to the NHL. Out of this draft class, who do you think is realistically ready to play next year?
Yeah, I don't think there are many guys. I even don't think I think Gavin McKenna is going to struggle next year, even if he's, insulated in Toronto. I think he'll play, but I think that there's got to be some reasonable expectations for that. I think Stenberg is going to have a real chance to make whatever team takes him. And then the next guy that I think is the most ready is probably Albert Smits. And he's played professionally this year. He played in the Olympics. He played at the World Championships. He played at the World Juniors. Always a standout player for Latvia. Played in both the Finnish Liga and German DEL this year. So a bit of an interesting path in terms of, his play. But he is physically mature, an excellent skater, defends well. I think the offensive game is still going to need some refining, but he makes a really good pass. I think he can get pucks out of the zone. There's just a real maturity to how he handles himself on the ice, and I think that will translate. So I still think the best case scenario for him is probably some time in the American League before he goes into the NHL, but that's a guy that I think could challenge for a roster spot right away.
Okay. As you mentioned, the top 40 guys, we focus on the top 10, but every year in the draft, you look back at over years and there's guys 14th, 22nd, and they, hey, Kucherov 58th. So there's guys that make big impacts later on. When you go through your list and, Stephen Ellis feels that there's a little bit of a drop after 20. Where does your drop come?
My drop starts at 13.
Okay.
So I think there's a pretty significant gap. And then basically from then on, there is minimal gaps between, the guy that goes 20 and the guy that goes 40. I really don't think there's a lot of difference there. And I think that's what you'll find with NHL teams too. Once you start talking about what their board looks like 15 through 50, you're going to see a lot of variance.
Okay. So, maybe it comes down to a team really likes a guy. Maybe we'll see some guys moving up a few spots, which happens, but I don't expect it to happen in the top 10. It's not outside the realm of possibilities, but I would think teams are going to draft the guys they want. It's just usually it's too pricey to move up 1 or 2 spots, especially if you're not sold on the guy being clearly better. What about goaltenders? Who are the goalies you like in this one?
Yeah, I think the goalie class has grown on me after really not liking it early in the year. I think watching more, the thing about this goalie class is you're going to find a lot of, talented players, but a lot of guys that it really could go either way for them. I think that's the case really every year for goalies, but I don't think we're going to see any go in the first round this year, maybe one. And if there's going to be one, it's probably going to be Tobias Trayball, who was the goalie for the Youngstown Phantoms in the USHL this year. Really solid player, great numbers. They were the regular season champion in the USHL. He looks the part of an NHL goaltender, has the size, has the technique, also has that athleticism. So I think he's the guy that a lot of teams have circled. But you look up and down this draft, and there's a lot of different goalies of different sizes, different abilities. There's like a William Lassell from the QMJHL who doesn't have the prototypical NHL size, but his hockey sense and his athleticism really allowed him to be a top goalie in the QMJHL this year. Ryder Fedorov, who was the goalie of the year in the CHL, was a rookie for Ottawa and was the best goalie in the OHL, but he doesn't have NHL size. He's got great hockey sense. He does a lot of things really well in the net, but those guys that don't have size, I think they'll get picked, but I think they'll get picked later. And then you've got some of these monsters like Brady Noling, who's 6'5" from the national team program. Terrible numbers this year, but I still think teams are going to see the package of the size and the technique and say, okay, let's see what we can do and work with this. So I think there are a lot of very intriguing projects that I think NHL goalie coaches are going to be very excited to kind of get their hands on. And that's going to be the story probably from rounds 2 through 3, where we see a big chunk of the goalies go in those ranges.
Yeah, and it's such a hard position. You've scouted a long time. And I talked to scouts, and they still say, man, we've advanced a lot, but goaltending is still incredibly difficult to get a good read on.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you think about it, you look back at a lot of teams have invested in goalie-specific scouts.
Yes.
And those guys are super talented. They think the position at a great level, but it's still the human elements of goaltending is so difficult to predict. And it's really difficult to see where these guys are at 18 versus where they're going to be, at 26. And so you almost wish there was a supplemental draft specifically for goalies, just because it's that hard to judge them relative to the position players. And there's so much variance. And, if I ever had a first round pick, I would never use it on a goalie. I mean, we just saw Brandon Bussey win the Stanley Cup. We've seen Aiden Hill win the Stanley Cup. It just doesn't seem like a good investment of that pick.
Yeah, okay, and that's fair. Are there guys, the one thing I find, Chris, in the NHL that, aggressive, tenacious players, more so guys who are hey, if you get a Sam Bennett, that's unreal. But I'm thinking more bottom 6 guys who play at the real edge and fire. And the league just doesn't have a lot of them. Are there some of those guys in the draft?
Yeah, there are. And I think there are going to be some of those guys that end up going maybe a little bit earlier. But, one of the guys that I think is kind of in that, almost like one of my favorite guys in terms of that grimy competitiveness is Zach Benson. So you might get a guy that's in your top 6 that plays like that. And that would probably be Viggo Bjork. But if you go further and further down, there are guys like Alexander Command, who is probably going to be a first rounder. He's probably going to be a bottom, he could be a middle 6 center, a guy that plays tough matchups, a guy that kills penalties for you. He's incredibly competitive. He's also got some offense to his game. He's probably going to be a mid first round pick. And that's a guy that can kind of play in the middle of your lineup. You look further down, you see a guy like 6'7" center Brooks Rogowski, who has a little bit. Teams want him to get nastier. They want him to be a little bit more snarly at that size. I think as he develops his game, that's going to be helpful to him. But that's another guy where you say, okay, I can see that guy playing down our lineup and giving us some help there. And playing with that little bit of edge. Another guy that could potentially go in that range is Casey Mutrin, who a lot of teams have kind of all over their boards right now, but he's 6'3". He's got a little bit of that nasty competitiveness, could be a scoring depth guy on top of it. So there's plenty of guys like that. I think that the teams will probably even go pick those guys a little bit earlier this year, just because there's so much uncertainty in that second half of the first round where I just want to make sure I get an NHL player here. Okay. And those guys find a way typically. So I think we'll see those guys go on even on day one.
Awesome. Chris, great stuff as always, man. Love reading your stuff. Really appreciate it. Have an awesome day and enjoy the draft. Get some sleep.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it, bud.
There you go. That's Chris Peters from Flow Hockey. We'll return. Andy Petrillo joins us next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Oodle noodle origins. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Did you know there are actually 3 seasons we experience in June? Spring, summer, and construction season. And while roads may be narrowed and detours are everywhere, GS construction crews are on site every day doing the work because the city doesn't stop, and neither do we. As we build and upgrade infrastructure, life continues around us. That's why we never lose sight of what matters most, making sure everyone, including our team, returns home safely at the end of the day. For more on what we do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
A huge thank you for making Sports 1440 the most listened to sports radio station in Edmonton. From Gregor to Carius to Low Tide, we've got in-depth analysis on all your favorite sports. We are Sports 1440.
The best way to experience Elks football is being there when it happens. From single game to flex packs, group tickets, and family packs. Your seats, your way. Ticket packs available now at goelks.com/tickets. Edmonton Elks. Our city, our year.
Looking for a truck that could handle anything Alberta throws your way? Wolf GMC Buick has the offers to get you behind the wheel. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on select new 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 models. Plus, trade in an eligible 2015 or newer pickup and receive a $1,000 truck trade-in bonus on select Sierra models. Ask about bonus offers for heroes, students, recent graduates, and more. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Get ready, outdoor enthusiasts, for the Kalmar Gun Show. Head to the Kalmar Hockey Arena Friday 3 till 8, Saturday 10 till 6, Sunday 10 till 3 for the premier event to buy, sell, and trade the best in hunting and sporting gear. Visit huntmaniashows.com.
Photographers, start your cameras. Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest is back. We're asking you to show us the people, places, and moments that made you glad you chose this rural life. Maybe it's the view from your farm, a walk down Main Street, neighbors pitching in, a weekend at the rodeo, or a sunset down a back road. Share your photo to show why life in rural Alberta is a choice worth celebrating. Enter and vote at whatsyourshare.ca.
Listen up, friends. Operation Pizza is a go at Papa John's. They're introducing new personal pizzas just in time to celebrate the premiere of Toy Story 5. These adventure-sized pies come in new exciting flavors like Sheriff's Roundup, Space Rangeroni, and Reach for the Pie. Or take your personal pizza to infinity and beyond by creating your own flavor just for you. Order 2 or more with Papa Pairings and get yours for only $9.99 each. New personal pizzas are ready for takeoff. See Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 5 in theaters June 19th.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$3:30. Cons, did Kane get the Hattie?
No, Jude Bellingham. Heck of a run.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
The Croatians held off a really good push from England to start the second half. So keeping it tight, though. Nice finish, though. Really nice finish. He had a good good look after his words as well. But no, Kane's still on Hattie watch.
Okay, we'll see where it goes. 331-833-414-1440, 833-414-1440. Time to get to our soccer report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. All right, maybe your furnace is on the fritz too. You bundle them up, you save even more at legacyheating.ca. Of course, the World Cup continues on today and then tomorrow. Canada back in action. We got England and Croatia, a hell of a match right now, 3-2 England. You got Ghana and Panama later on tonight, then Uzbekistan and Colombia, and then tomorrow, 4 o'clock Edmonton time, Canada will take on Qatar. And to talk all things soccer from One Soccer, as well as CBC Sports, Amazon Prime, Andy Petrillo joins us. Andy, how you doing?
I'm great. It's been a while. How are you doing?
I am excellent. This tournament, there were some naysayers earlier thinking, there's more teams, there's gonna be a lot more blowouts. It's kind of really like, obviously there was the Germany game, but man, there's been a lot of surprises as far as competitive games so far. What's your thoughts kind of 1 week into the World Cup?
Well, I think that's just it. I wondered what 48 teams would look like. And we're getting great stories with Cape Verde and what they've been able to do. Spain unable to get a win. And there was, the draw. There's some storylines there. Even the goalkeeper for Cape Verde and this incredible human aspect of being on the fringes and finally making the World Cup and having this incredible showing. So you're like, oh, okay, we're getting some surprises here, which is kind of nice. But at the same time, I will say this, as somebody, covering the tournament, I'm like, the final group hasn't even kicked off yet. Like, I think they do that, today, tomorrow, whatever. And I'm like, oh my goodness, we're a week into the tournament and not every single team has played it. Like, we're seeing England, Portugal for the first time today. Yeah. So that's kind of crazy where, being extended, you realize how you don't even see teams for the first time until you're a week in. And then, of course, the conversation, I think where it really is going to start to kind of play out is, there's no such thing really kind of like as this group of death. And before I used to say, hey, this team may not make it out of the group, but now kind of like a lot of teams make it out of the group. So you can't really have that conversation at the group stage yet where it's doom and gloom. It's not doom and gloom from the start, but so far I'm enjoying it. So I can't really say I'm complaining yet because, whatever, there's still time, but yet I'm not, Jason, about the 48 teams.
Now, Canada, gets the draw in a game where they definitely created way more. They couldn't finish. And, I found at times their passing just wasn't as crisp. Their coach even talked about it that, some of their better guys probably didn't have their best game as far as finishing goes offensively. Now they take on Qatar, who, for them, a massive draw against Switzerland. And I know even after the Canada game, before that game was played, everyone's like, okay, Canada now, they're going to score 3 goals and everything's going to be great. And I'm like, well, maybe not. So what do you look at Canada and just the need to be, I think, more efficient in the offense zone? Because their corners, Andy, they were awful.
Ugh. Would they have like 9 in the first half and nothing came of it? And then they kept doing the same thing over and over again. It's like, it's not working, guys. Like, you got to change up your corners a little bit here because set pieces matter. And oftentimes that can be the difference. I mean, you love to be able to score from open play, but if you can be lethal on set pieces, dead ball situations, then that's equally as good. So that let them down in that first game. But it's so funny because with Qatar getting that point, it depends on if you're a glass half full, glass half empty. So if you're glass half full, you're like, okay, Canada now has a real chance of winning the group, which has always been Jesse Marsh's plan. That's what he has set out to do, win the group, because then you can stay in Vancouver, minimize your travel. But then on the flip side, you're like, holy geez, Qatar got a point. Now Canada also has a real chance of finishing 4th in the group. Like that, you can go from, finishing first to, if you're the glass half empty, oh no, Qatar picked up points. Now Canada can go, 3rd, 4th in the group. And 4th, obviously, is your nightmare. You don't make it. And 3rd, now you leave it to chance because only 8 of the 12 best 3rd place teams, I shouldn't say only 8 of the 12 3rd best teams move on. That's still a really good percentage. But now you're like, wow, that kind of changed the conversation in this group quite a bit. And you're right, finishing is huge. It's been a problem, with this team. We've been discussing this for quite some time, and Jonathan David going a little bit cold. And is that the way Jesse Marsh is deploying him? He's kind of playing him a little bit as a number 10, which, as we know, is a little bit more defensive minded, falling back a little bit. Should he be changing that up and playing him a little bit more forward? Then it was always about his partnership. Who's the best guy to play alongside him? Can never find that partnership. So I would say they hadn't figured it out. The mere fact that Kyle Larin, who started in those 2 friendlies next to David, had the last 2 friendlies before the World Cup, and then doesn't get the start, tells me Jesse Marsh had not figured it out, and he was going based on gut right at the last minute before that game. He kind of gets it wrong. I guess you can make the argument, gets it right by obviously having Kyle Larin come in as a sub, but you're just sitting there going, I feel like there were so many questions unanswered when it came to offense with this team and how they were going to generate it, because Jesse Marsh's high press, they love the other team to have possession because they want to create the turnover. They want to create the counterattack. Other teams have figured that out and they're just giving the ball to Canada. So now it's like, all right, what you going to do with it? So, it's really on the coach as well to kind of make some adjustments here tactically.
Yeah. Their corners, I thought, were just not remotely good at all. Now, they're a smaller team, so they weren't probably going to win many of the headers anyway. Well, then, rather than just a touch pass low, then why not put it high to have a guy walk into one and just rip a one-timer? That's even from a sharp angle, I thought I'd at least kind of try it. It just felt like there was zero creativity on their penalty kicks at all. Like, I never saw anything change over the whole court. Like, when you get that many, like, come on.
Well, and that's exactly it. And to your point, I think like out of the 26 player squad for Bosnia and Herzegovina, 5 are under 6 feet. Like that's it. That is a big team. Those are big boys. So if you're going to go, into the aerial battle, there's a good chance you're going to lose that. So you want more of the short passes. You want more of something, to your point, where it's the short pass, maybe get it to a guy right at the top of the 18-yard box, try to create something and very quickly try to get it through. But they weren't doing that. And you're right. Like that's what was frustrating. But then in the second half, obviously a little bit more creativity. You bring in Kyle Larin. I mean, Ali Ahmed, I thought was fantastic. He changed the game. Even Jacob Schaffelberg with his speed, like those guys along the flanks, like it looked really, really good. And then you give Kyle Larin, speaking of big bodies, he used his big body and holding on and Promise David, that guy, like if he decides he's going left, like he's going left, you either better figure out how you're going to stand your ground or move out the way. So when you had Kyle Larin and Promise David, so those two big bodies themselves, it doesn't surprise me that it created something and ultimately ended up in as a goal. But yeah, the start was not good, and you can't afford that now against a Qatar side that's probably feeling pretty good about themselves.
Andy Petrillo joins us, and like you look at Jonathan David, and just he's clearly, I think, their most skilled striker. And he had that one great chance shot right at the goalie. Had a few other kind of mishandles, and maybe it's just the moment. Who knows? But if he can find his game, that in itself should settle down their offense, create way more.
Yeah. I mean, he's the leading goal scorer for the Canadian men's national team for a reason. He's made the move to Juventus for a reason. Yeah. This is a really, really good player. And, and let's not forget, even a couple years ago in Ligue 1, he finished second in scoring behind Kylian Mbappe. Like, that's pretty good company to keep. Like, this is a guy who knows how to find the back of the net. But recently, and because he's not talking, so Canada Soccer is also really protecting him here. And from what I'm understanding in camp is they are giving players the ability to choose when they speak to media. So it's not like they're letting Jonathan David off the hook, but apparently they did ask him, do you want to speak after the first game or would you rather speak between game 2 and game 3? And he said game 2 and game 3. So that's why he hasn't spoken to the media yet. He didn't go into the mix zone even after that first game. I mean, he's a reserved guy to begin with, but I will say, like, he can be talkative. Like in the past when I've requested him, he's been more than willing to give interviews, but I think they're protecting him and he's taking that opportunity to be protected. So I say that because what I'm about to say now is purely speculation. So I have no clue what's going through his head. We know it hasn't been the greatest of years with Juventus. It's been a little hit and miss, not necessarily starting all the time, right? Coming off the bench. Then even heading into this World Cup, there's been rumors that maybe they're going to loan him out, and that can weigh on a player's mind because now you're thinking, okay, if I'm going to be put on display for another team to pick me up, I better showcase my goods here at the World Cup. And that can also be pretty stressful. I mean, we saw that at Copa America with Ishmael Kone. Before Copa America kicked off, there was talk about him making the move to Europe. And he even admitted, he goes, that completely weighed me down. And he did not have a great Copa America. We know this. So again, this is me just guessing because we haven't heard from Jonathan David. The tough year, the fact that the rumors are swirling that he could be on the move, who knows how that's affecting him.
And it makes sense. Like there's lots going on. You're in your home country. Canada's still looking for their first ever win at the World Cup. Like there's still lots on the line here. They got their first ever point. So on the men's side, so that's a step in the right direction. When you watch Qatar though, in their opening game, anything surprise you tactically that they were able to come out of that game with a draw? And what does Canada have to be leery of tomorrow?
Well, I mean, so Switzerland came out and got the first goal, and you're thinking, okay, here we go. Yeah. But I'll give Qatar credit that they just held Switzerland to the one goal. So they were able to be defensively stifling in that sense, right? So that's the thing. They can kill your momentum. And, this is a team, as we know, got into the last World Cup because they were the host nation, but they have the dubious honor of being just the second team alongside South Africa to be a host nation that did not make it out of the group. But whatever they've done in the last 4 years, so from a defensive standpoint, they put themselves in the game to get that 90-plus fifth-minute goal. Right. So, I mean, are they a threatening team? At least for me, like to see them threatening offensively? No. But if they can bore you, if they can stifle you, and like as we just kind of finished talking about Canada having trouble scoring, then they give themselves that chance. They give themselves that opportunity to stay in the game. And clearly that's all they need to do now in this group to wreak havoc, which already getting that point against Switzerland is what they've done.
Yeah. Like Canada, it's a massive game tomorrow. It's almost like you need a win if you want to move on.
Yeah. It was already, like, here's the thing, even before Qatar-Switzerland kicked off, the fact that it was a draw against Bosnia, we were all saying like crazy, but game 2 is already a must win because you wanted to put yourself in a situation against Switzerland where you knew that you were going to comfortably finish, like maybe in that second spot.
Right.
So it was always go into that Switzerland game with 4 points. Ideally 6, but 4 points was always going to be the minimum. So now you get 1 point from the first game. Well, I mean, you kind of do the math, get yourself the 3 points against Qatar. Now it does get a little interesting again, because now that 4 points was always under the assumption that Switzerland was going to get the full 3 against Qatar. So I'm not a math whiz and I'm not going to pretend to be one. But if you just want that game against Switzerland to be a little bit of a breather, then this needs to be a must win.
Yeah, I would agree. Lastly, just overall, what do you think this means? You know, you cover soccer, you're very close to it on One Soccer, just for the nation overall and having games in Canada. And obviously if Canada can move on to the round of 32 would be massive. But like, do you think it's imperative that they move on just to stimulate even more growth, or just the fact that we're hosting games will be good enough?
I mean, obviously as someone who covers the game, I'm not going to be happy with crumbs. And I think the key is to move on to the group stage, especially since it is an expanded tournament. Right? Like, so the top 2 go through and 8 of the 12 third place. Like I said, like your chances are the greatest they've ever been to get out of the group stage. And because of this expanded format, you know, what we are noticing is that there are no groups of death because there are just so many great chances. The percentages are in your favor to move on. So I think that would be a real disappointment if they didn't. And hosting is great. I think if anything, it showcases to the world that there is a football culture in this country. The Voyagers and anyone else who wanted to jump on that bandwagon to march to the game, that first one at Toronto Stadium was phenomenal. And I think that was such a great show to the world that this footy culture is here. I think Vancouver's going to do another exceptional job. I actually saw a really funny tweet from Ben Steiner, who covers the team, and he had this photo of like Canadian geese already marching towards the Vancouver Stadium. And he's like, they've already started. So, you know, I mean, everyone's kind of getting involved here, even our Canadian geese who are world renowned as well, but for different reasons. And I think if anything, it shows the world, you know, what we have here. But like anything in sports, you need to get results. You need to win in order for people to pay attention, or even the casual fan to go, what now? Canada's in a knockout stage, and then you start to get attention. So I think I think it really matters for them to move on to the knockout round.
Yeah, I agree with you, because I thought even in 2022, you know, the fact they didn't get a win, didn't get a point, that was, everyone was expecting like, okay, here we go. Like, yeah, okay, they scored a goal. That was nice. But I think there was some disappointment. And like, I still look at Canada. There's been some games here, Andy, in 22 and now where Canada dominated long stretches of that game, but we can't put teams away offensively. That still seems to be, if there's a weakness on the national team, it's the inability to finish.
Yeah, and strangely, it's also the conversation with the Canadian women's national team as well. So we're kind of like, what is going on here, right? What style of play? Does anything need to change? Because we have players who are great. We have players who get it done with their professional teams. So that's why I say, is the pressure a little bit on Jesse Marsh here to make tactical adjustments? And whether it's personnel, whoever he's going to go with his starting 11, or like I said, whether it's properly making Jonathan David your talisman and whatever service you need to create on the sides there. I mean, if we're assuming he's going to go with the same starting 11, Tajon Buchanan, Liam Miller, I didn't think Liam Miller had the best of games. No. Maybe you slot in Ali Ahmed instead. So it becomes Ali Ahmed and Tajon Buchanan. But it's got to be quick. It's got to be quick passing, quick decision-making. That's usually what catches your opponent, you know, with two left feet. And I just don't know if Canada was quick enough in some of that. I don't know the decision-making was fast enough. Those one touches really matter, but it does, like, that service matters. So you've got to get that service. So get it right when it comes to your flanks, because, I mean, Eustachio and Kone, we know, can do that, but you need those runs. You need those quick runs along the side, crosses, get them in. And you know, so like, to me, that's a tactical sometimes decision. That's a coach's decision. And if he can do everything he can do to try and put the best team out there and the best formation out there, then yes, the onus is now on the players to get it done. But the decision-making really needs to be quick. And what we've seen even in the lead up, like the friendlies, and I know the teams keep going back to that game at the Gold Cup where they came out against Honduras and scored the 6. Dude, that's a long time ago. Like even in the friendlies leading up to this, it's always been slow starts. And I don't know why. It's like, okay, enough here, right? Like I get the injuries and everything, but you've got to find a way to be fast from the get-go and get that early goal and then try to hold on to it. Because again, Qatar proved 90+5, they can still score on you.
Yeah, very true. Andy, great stuff. As always, good to catch up with you again, and enjoy the World Cup. You finally get to see all the teams, and then I guess round 2 of the opening round officially begins tomorrow. So look forward to that.
Thank you.
That is Andy Patrol from One Soccer, Prime Sports, CBS or CBC, and more. Quick break. We'll come back. It's Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit japaequipment.com or stop our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. Properties include the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku, features 2 sheets of ice, a 1,600-seat arena, as well as Summit Restaurant. Learn more at silentice.com.
Our new McCafe crafted sodas just drinks or something more, like Sprite Berry Bliss, Creamy Strawberry Coke, and Orange Dream, all swirled with fizzy flavor and topped with silky cold foam. Only at McDonald's. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the Power Play 24/7 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
You got it. Go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Nissan's through once again. They've done it! 12 years straight! Nissan ropes a 2026 Best Buy winner from Consumer Guide Automotive for 12 years in a row. The Score with Nissan event is on, and qualifying Nissan owners can score by leasing a 2026 Rogue S for the equivalent of $99 weekly at 0% for 36 months with $0 down. Visit Nissan.ca for details. $430 monthly. Includes $1,100 Nissan bonus and 0.4% loyalty rate reduction. Conditions apply.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Get the Puck Drop special at Papa John's. A large 2-topping pizza and 8-piece wings for only $28.99 with promo code PUCKDROP at at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$354. Oh man, there's a lot of glum faces right now, and I know a very passionate community will be rather perturbed right now. The Croatians, and I know a lot of them. They'll be a little disappointed, giving up 4 goals to England. Late in that match, looks like it's all but over. England leading 4-2. Earlier today, Portugal tying Congo. Those are the first 2 games of the day. We got Ghana and Panama, and then Uzbekistan, Colombia, and then tomorrow, Canada back in action. 4 o'clock start. If you're interested in watching it, where they go. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 is where you can text us. We get to the oil report brought to you by Go Auto. Looking for a vehicle? No better place to shop. GoAuto.ca. They have over 15,000 vehicles for you to choose from. Cars, trucks, SUVs, man, you name it. They got it in your color, in your style, 73 locations. GoAuto.ca. Now, there's nothing new on the investigation is ongoing, and until the NHL sends out a release the order sent out that they have hired Mike Babcock, it's pretty much standing still at this point for the Oilers organization, and we'll see where it goes from here. They obviously would like to hire Mike Babcock. They're just waiting to see if the league will give them the green light to hire Mike Babcock. We shall see. We shall see. Meanwhile, did touch on, we had a few other ones. Gregor, you mentioned James Hamlin. Any idea why you think the organization wouldn't resign him? Well, I think the organization's interested. I think if you're James Hamlin right now, you're well, first of all, especially a player like James Hamlin, you're somebody who's waiting to see who the coach is, right? Because you hire a coach that if you have a connection to, and I don't think there's a connection between him and Babcock anywhere, but another coach you might. And that matters a lot for a player who's trying to get themselves established as an NHL player. I believe James Hamlin could help an NHL team. He's very reliable, got some good offense, he's improved his faceoffs, good penalty killer. Now, could he come in on a team that's contending for the cup right away? I think that would be harder. For a lot of players, man, it's like there's lots of guys who can play on team. And once you get established, then it's different. But it's harder to break in on a competitive team than it is on a team that's, ranked 30th. Like, let's be honest. It'd be easier to be a 4th-line center in Vancouver than it would be in Edmonton this year. Just like it was easier to be a 4th-line center in Edmonton in 2010 than it was to be a 4th-line center in Vancouver in 2010. Right? That stuff matters. So now, for James Hamlin, you don't know what offers are out there until you get to free agency. That's always the game. Yeah, you know what? I want to test it. It's easier for an established NHL player to test the market because lots of other teams know you. They've done scouting. They're like, oh, okay. Whereas if you're a James Hamlin, you might have to wait a few days. And then what happens? What if all of a sudden they fill up those spots? So there's always I wouldn't say cat and mouse sounds, doesn't sound great. But I think it's more so that there are players that you have to weigh your opportunity to know kind of how it goes. So we'll see who that goes. We did have an agent, Dan Milstein, said that he supports Mike Babcock. I know his days. It's interesting. Not a shock, maybe. Connor Clattenburg is one of his players. I think he's the only one currently on the order. So, I'm not sure in this case. Like, it's great but it's really going to be more so about talking to players who are signed by the orders. Right now, maybe some of his free agents. Now, funny enough, one of his clients is Evander Kane, and Milstein saying, "Hey, I'd support him." Then, in a kind of roundabout way, maybe that your player would do it. Now, do I think there's a possibility that Kane comes back? Anything's possible. I'm not sold on it. Kane didn't have a great year last year. Now, he's going to come in as $1 million player, I would guess, around there. And he doesn't qualify for any bonuses. So he would probably be in a show me opportunity. And if that was the case, he'd be highly motivated. So I could see why you might want to take a swing at that. But as much as it is about on ice, there's always the off ice. Like, you're going to practice, right? You're going to be committed to all those sorts of things. And I do think at some point we'll see that how Kane. I think Kane is a player that teams will sign because he could be a highly motivated player. But he's going to come to camp, and if he's highly motivated and puts in all the work in the summer, then you could get yourself an excellent deal. Maybe. That's the question. We'll see. It's a maybe. Former Edmonton owner, if you missed it, day 3 of the trading streak in the National Hockey League, which is always nice to see. The Buffalo Sabres, San Jose Sharks make a trade today. Michael Kesselring and the 27th pick are going to, now they're in San Jose, and Buffalo receives the 20th overall pick. So they move up 7 spots, and San Jose gets Michael Kesselring to move down 7 spots. I know there's, I don't know, there's people that love Michael Kesselring. Michael Kesselring dressed for 1 game in the playoffs for Buffalo, played 4 minutes. Right? He played 13 minutes. He's the third pairing guy. I don't see why people think that Kesselring, is he that much better than Ty Emerson? Maybe. But that's what it would be. I see people thinking he's a top 4 defenseman. Honestly, based on what? What numbers suggest he's a top 4 defenseman on a team like the Edmonton Oilers who are in a win now window? Because he's never played that way. Right? When he was in Utah, he was a third pair guy. And there's nothing wrong with third pair defensemen. Nothing wrong with it at all. But I don't think that he's, answering filling the hole. And now he's a member of the Sharks. The Sharks, they had no defenseman, right? They got Orlov signed and Dickinson. Right now, they're probably going to sign Mac Madulin. He's an RFA. But they need a guy like Kesselring. And he'll probably get an opportunity to play more there in San Jose. See how he does. Quick break. When we return, we got a lot of texts to get to. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. As we get to the Con Man Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Stop in at Fountain Tire looking for tires, looking for mags. They got them both, and they got the digital vehicle report to tell you what is wrong with your vehicle, fountaintire.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Well, one day after announcing John Tortorella would not return to the team next season, the Golden Knights, finding their next head coach in Ryan Craig, will become the 5th head coach in franchise history. He led the AHL's Henderson Silver Knights, the AHL affiliate, for the past 3 seasons. And in Toronto, Jim Hiller has been named the 41st head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Hiller spent parts of the last 3 seasons with the LA Kings before being fired in March. And the San Jose Sharks have acquired defenseman Michael Kesselring and the 27th overall pick from Buffalo for the 20th pick in the upcoming NHL entry draft. At the World Cup, Victoria doubled up Croatia 4-2 earlier today. Congo and Portugal tying at 1 apiece. At 5 o'clock, Panama taking on Ghana. Then at 8 o'clock, you've got Uzbekistan and Colombia from Mexico City. Major League Baseball, Blue Jays in action, taking on the Boston Red Sox once again. First pitch, 4:45. We'll join that game in progress on the AM dial following the Jason Gregor Show. Elsewhere, Diamondbacks lead the Angels 8-1 in the bottom of the 8th. Some finals of the Marlins over the Phillies 12-4. The Tigers fall to the Astros 4-2. Padres over the Cards 6-1. And the Dodgers edge the Rays 5-4. PWHL draft underway. The Vancouver Golden Knights selecting Caroline KK Harvey first overall, Abby Murphy and Tessa Janicki rounding out the top 3. So far, no Canadians have been selected. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll ask 5 questions and be joined by former NHLer Jason Strudwick. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you. Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Cheering on Canada, Mexico, Australia, France, England, Brazil, Germany, Spain, and the rest of the world at the Druid Irish Pub.
Your World Cup headquarters.
Wear your colors, cheer on your team, and enjoy 650 Heineken every game.
Plus, your chance to win a ton of World Cup merch,
including hoodies, jerseys, soccer balls, and more.
The Druid Irish Pub, your World Cup headquarters.
Bringing Edmonton together, one soccer game at a time.
The Druid Irish Pub.
Cheer with us in the Mercer Building across from Rogers Place in Ice District.
Say hello to your new favorite drinks. Introducing new McCafe Refreshers. Icy cool, undeniably refreshing, and available in 3 flavors. Strawberry watermelon, mango pineapple, and blackberry passion fruit. Only at McDonald's.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
From the locker room to your radio, Sports 1440 is Edmonton's sports leader. Real talk, big personalities, and your texts. It's interactive. It's fun. It's where Edmonton talks sports. Sports 1440.
There's one game that kicks off summer, June 20th at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. The Elks home opener, Elks Alouettes, presented by James H. Brown, Alberta Injury Lawyers. Lock in your tickets now at goelks.com/tickets. Our city, our year.
Looking for a solid 4x4 that checks all the boxes? The 2026 Jeep Compass is in stock now at St. Albert Dodge, and this is a great value, starting from just $36,900. It's a Jeep, so you've got 4x4 capability, plus features like an 8.4-inch touchscreen, Apple CarPlay, active lane management, a Park View rear backup camera, and more. Over 30 in stock right now in just about every color you'd want. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Everything is going to be okay. Any business, regardless of size, can stumble occasionally. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. If your business is facing financial challenges, our team of chartered insolvency and restructuring professionals have corporate debt recovery solutions that work. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. Chances of a positive outcome increase if you engage Faber sooner rather than later.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower, dented while door crashing, or crunched at the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair and get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to robertsonbodyworks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio, from weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
.408. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Sports 1440. YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely Wednesday afternoon as we get set. If you're a footy fan, I know many of you are actually, we got a lot of texts from people who are jumping on the big bird heading to Vancouver for tomorrow's matchup. Awesome. Let us know about the atmosphere. That should be fantastic, man. Oh, would that be a lot of fun? Are there, are there any like last minute tickets available, right, for Canada and Ghana? Qatar. I wonder. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Like, how would you know, like, what's even a safe place to buy tickets for the World Cup? Because I heard there was lots of fraud ones. Right? Like, where would you even go that you could, like, StubHub probably, Cons?
Well, I went to SeatGeek, and they do have tickets available. How much do you want to spend, though? That's the question.
How much are they?
Looks like the highest I can find is $1,800.
Yeah, well, don't give me the highest. What's the lowest?
$990.
$990?
Yeah. $904, actually.
And where is that?
Oh, it's like the corner behind the flag, very top row, second level.
Second level. $1,000.
You'd have some great views, though. It's also an obstructed view.
For $900, I'm paying for an obstructed view ticket? Who the hell's buying that? Come on.
Well, not me. I mean, it'd be cool to see the atmosphere if I could just throw away money, but yeah, there's some for $3,000 here. Great view, mind you, but not cheap.
Yeah, well, good for those of you who planned ahead or got maybe lucked out and got in the draw. Although lucked out, it was still expensive, my understanding. But hey, it's the World Cup. I get it. That's the world we live in now. It's rarely are you going to get a bargain on a ticket unless you got a buddy who buys it for you. It's a pretty good bargain. Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Hey, if you're looking for a bargain, how about a Okamoto David Schneider parlay, Connor Halley? You can dig it at Jason Gregor Show. Our odds boost specials there. You can check that one out. If you're, a few bucks, nothing crazy, just a little bit of fun. See if it works. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Struddy's going to join us in the next segment. We got a lot of texts to get to. Hey, boys, just on my way to head to the airport. Hoping to be part of the first Canadian men's soccer victory in history. Get the jerseys and face paint and everything. Go Canada. From Trailer Park Ryan. Well, have fun, dude. That is true. I can see why there is the potential for history here to be in the stadium for the first ever victory for Canada on the men's side of the World Cup. It's a pretty big deal, right? And you're kind of looking for experiences at this point. I could see it for sure. Hey guys, Kane was really good the last show me contract he had with the Oilers from Scott. It's true. But that was 4 or 5 years ago, right? When he started, is that right? 4 for sure. That was in 21, 22 when he came in 5 years ago, in fact. So lots changes, right? Like back then he was 29, actually 30, because he'll be turning 35 in August. Now, actually, you know what? Now that I look at that, Connor Halley, so he's 35 in August. Ooh, no, I don't think it works. I think by the rule, because I think it's you have to be 35 by July 1st this year to qualify for the 35 plus contract that can give you bonuses. I have to double check that, but I think that's how it is. Which, so if you're born in June or earlier, there's a benefit. You're a later birth date? No. Because if I was Evander Kane, I would just say, well, I'm going to wait until August 3rd. Now I'm 35. Shouldn't I be able to sign a 35-year-old contract? Because I'm 35 when I signed it. It's true. So I got to look that up. But
June 30th.
Yeah, you got to be 35 by June 30th, right? So it's kind of a disadvantage for those guys. Right? You got a July birthday. You're getting screwed over. August too, September. Because if you're September 15th and older, you've waited a year later to get drafted anyway. Right? Which is something that I've always argued. Move the draft year back a year. Then everybody from the 1st to from just January 1st to December 31st is even. would make it better. Just my viewpoint on it. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but that would be my viewpoint on that one. So yeah, so Kane can't get. So he probably would sign a 1-year deal. Now he brings a unique mix, right? Scored 13 goals, 30-point guy. Someone still probably sign him for $2 million, to be honest, just because of his physicality. And you did make a fair point, Texter, that a show me time, like when Kane's motivated, and trust me, he would be motivated to have a good year so he get another contract. It is it's very possible. Hey, Gregor, is Kesselring better than Emerson? Hey, Christian, show me the numbers. Right? Do you think Ty Emerson could play? Ty Emerson played 13 minutes a night in Edmonton. Kesselring played 13 minutes a night in Buffalo. What's the difference? Kesselring probably moves the puck better, sure. But people are acting like Kesselring is a second pair defenseman. He's never been a second pair defenseman. Okay? And there's lots of guys who are, you can be a second pair defenseman and play those minutes on the 30th place team. That doesn't mean you're a second pair defenseman on a competitive team. It's very different. Very different. So I wouldn't, I'm a little, and hey, San Jose, it's a good trade for them, man. You're getting a legit NHL defenseman. He's an NHL defenseman, whether he's a third pair, second pair, right? I think he's a third pair defenseman. They don't have any defenseman, really. They got Orlov. And they got Dickinson signed. That's it. You needed to fill your defense core. But Buffalo gave up to move up 7 spots. Think about that. Right? He's on this many different teams now. Edmonton, Utah, Buffalo, San Jose. Maybe, just maybe the people might be overrating saying he's a top 4 defenseman. That fair? Is it possible? Oh, he did add in that CC is better than Walker. Yeah, at the time of that statement, he was. John Walker was never a top 4 defenseman at that point. Right? Hadn't been. Last time I checked, Cody Ceci was pretty good for the Oilers in the playoffs. It's just a fact. Right? It's just a fact. Sean Walker was very good this year for Carolina in the playoffs. Awesome. But you're talking about something that happened 3 years ago. And I'd still stand by the Cody Ceci. Cody Ceci, oh, by the way, what happened in Game 7 against Florida? Who's the one guy who showed up offensively? Cody Ceci, Mattias Janmark. That's it. Right? No one else produced. Cody Ceci might have had the greatest pass of his life in Game 7, which, and a lot of times when we talk about it, like unexpected performances, that would have been it. He also scored Game 7 in 2022 against the LA Kings. Opening goal. Scored Game 7 against the Vancouver Canucks. Guy showed up pretty big time when it mattered in the playoffs. So I don't like his contract in LA now. That's a totally different conversation. Hey, Greg, what do you make of that whole Brian Sorsby situation? Well, it is. I saw now that his agent came out and they're saying that the University of Cincinnati, like, is it just me here, Connor, or is the whole, everybody's saying it's everybody else's fault but his? Like, isn't there something on the player here? Like, you got your own addiction. Isn't it on you at some point to try to, like, you can't blame everybody else. Oh, they knew about it. And so, you know, because now Cincinnati's suing Sorsby for breach of the nil contract. And now he's potentially, like, I saw it. He's going to have his pro day here because he's like, and that's the other thing. Like, Texas Tech was like, okay, you got to do this. You got to do this. And then the judge actually rules in his favor. And then Texas Tech's like, oh, wait a sec. No. You can't do this with us now. Like, it's a wild situation here. My question is, how good is he?
I mean, I can't speak to it probably as much as Declan could, knowing a little bit more. So maybe Deck wants to throw his mic on here. What I can tell you is I've seen mock drafts for the next season when they've had him in the first round, maybe banking on a good season this year with the Red Raiders.
Okay.
So there is some excitement around him, but I just think in the NFL, like, you're trying to stay away from controversy. You don't want this sort of thing in your room. It's impacted so many players' careers. I just, even with upside, I don't know how high of a pick you're willing to put out there for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty scathing indictment on the state of college sports right now that his agent, and shout out to his agent for being in his corner, is coming out and saying, well, it's actually Cincinnati's program and this is the fourth college school he's stopped at, and he's going to play for Texas Tech and all that. It's like, yeah, at some point the onus has to be on you. And the other thing is, if this wasn't the current landscape of the NCAA, if this was 10, 15, 20 years ago, there's no chance this guy is getting any shot at redemption. But just now, because of the current state we're in and all the legalities surrounding by, well, actually you can make money, so it's like a business now and you're taking away his right to make money. It's like, okay, cool, but what about the last 25 years when this wouldn't have stood at all? Like, why do we all of a sudden get to rewrite the rules for this guy who, by the way, did everything wrong under the sun, and now we're coming back to say, like, it's just it's a weird situation in that sense. And like, good player or not, like, when you're betting on your team, like, if you're a guy who has an addiction and you're betting on Chinese table tennis at 4 a.m, that's one thing. But for a guy to be actively betting on NCAA games and games you're participating in, I just don't know how, even in the current landscape of the sport where it's a business more than a sport than it's ever been, I don't know how you can let that guy play.
Like, I just think at some point, like, you're responsible for your own actions, right? Like, there's consequences to your act. The consequences going in if you're a player. Right? I know the consequences, Connor, in my job as a public figure. If I get impaired, it's a lot different than if I would have gotten impaired working in the oil field.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a fact. I know it. So I don't do it. Okay? It's that simple. You know the consequences. If there's one thing in our society now that kind of irks me is that, well, just somebody else. It's never my fault. No, there should be consequences. You should know that there's consequences to your actions. Everybody wants to talk about freedom of choice and free speech. Yeah, sure. But there's consequences to what you say. There's consequences to what you do. Just because free speech doesn't mean that you're free of consequences. And so when you make a decision like this as a player, going in, you're not supposed to do it. They actually have meetings. I know that the leagues, they sit down with players. Okay, here's the do's and the don'ts. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. Here's the consequences if you do it. So if then you turn around and do it, oh, well, it's my addiction. No, addiction's not an excuse. You don't just get to be like, well, I'm an alcoholic, so if I have vehicular manslaughter, it's not my fault. Right? Like, no, there's consequences. I just find this amazing to me that they're just pointing the fingers at everybody else but themselves here.
Well, and I mean, the consequences are yet to be seen, right? Like, this could very well cost him a shot in the NFL. There would be your consequences.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. So I just, the lawsuits and everything else like this, it's just, I don't know, sad state on it for sure. So we'll see where it goes. But at some point, to me, there should be a little bit of, you got to make your own choices. Hey guys, what do you make of the online rumors about nurse for Wotherspoon? Well, again, so first of all, and I understand because it's his junior player, but like Parker Wotherspoon, this past year, yeah, he played 20 minutes a night, right? Kind of, I think like that's really the first time in his career, right? He's done that. He's a younger defenseman, well, younger in the sense of games played. He's 28 years of age. He's a smaller D-man. Like, he's not overly offensive. Like, I guess my question is, like, what does he bring? Right? He doesn't bring a ton of physicality. He doesn't bring a lot of offense, right? Like, I think he's got like 4 goals in his NHL career in almost 200 games, right? And that's fine. Like, not everybody's an offensive player, but if that's all you get for Darnell Nurse, I'm not trading Darnell Nurse. I don't care that he asked for a trade. I'm going to say, you know what? Like, just because he asked for a trade and the organization wants to do it doesn't mean that you have to sprint to make it happen right away. So, that's just how I look at it. Like, if Parker Wotherspoon's, I think, okay, he's a third pair defenseman. Sure, because you got Wallman and you got Ekholm, right? He's probably a number 5. Nothing wrong with that. But I'd want more than that if I'm trading Darnell Nurse. That's just me. I'm not in the giveaway spirit. I think the Oilers, they actually overpaid to give away Stuart Skinner, and it did not work out well at all so far. Now, maybe Tristan Jarry reverses that and plays great next year. Awesome. Right? Wotherspoon, what's he make? $1 million, I think, somewhere along those lines. So, you're going to have to take some other salary. Pittsburgh's already got Carlson. They've got Letang. They got Sammy Girard at $5 million. So, I don't know. That one doesn't make a lot of sense to me, to be honest. And I'm still I guess maybe Darnell Nurse would go there. Okay. You're with Crosby. You got Carlson there. Although Carlson's only got 1 year left too on his deal, right? So, and suddenly you're going to kind of be the guy again. I don't know if he wants to be that. We'll see. But I would want more than Parker Wotherspoon if it's me. Quick break. When we come back, Jason Strudwick will join us. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle,
Trouble low down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Hot coffee, hotter takes, and the sports stories that matter. Check out Kevin Carius weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440. Be part of the conversation. 833-401-1440.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
Novo Blinds is your home ice advantage for window coverings. Edmonton's own custom manufacturer with over 300 5-star reviews from homeowners, builders, and commercial contractors. Book a free in-home consultation at novoblinds.ca.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. This deal's only good till 6 o'clock tonight. We need your credit card to hold the color. Hold the color. Summer package. Winter package. And the ever-famous re-PDI fee. I gotta pay you to rebuild the car? Does this sound familiar? At Northgate, we do things differerly. We offer 0% financing, a great selection of new, pre-owned vehicles. So if you'd like to do business a different way, stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Where are those happy days? They seem so hard to find.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Druid Irish Pub, Edmonton's favorite soccer home. The Druid Irish Pub is back in the Ice District across from Rogers Place. Watch all the games with 650 Heineken only at the Druid Irish Pub.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Man, I wonder if Sweden was cranking this in their dressing room after their 5-goal performance against Tunisia. Most goals since 1938 in a World Cup match for Sweden. You never know. It might be. I wonder if the new generation's that high on that. Is it transferable from generation to generation? Because it's pretty catchy. Not going to lie. It's pretty catchy. Welcome back to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. It's time to go to Struds On, brought to you by Action Electrical, where they remind you, if you've been thinking about it, don't hesitate, don't wait. Reach out to them. They can help. Let you know how you can qualify for up to 30% federal tax credit, plus accelerated capital cost allowance benefits when you get solar on your commercial building. ActionElectrical.net.
The Jason Gregor Show presents Struds On.
I don't believe in tea bags. I use loose leaf tea. It is so much better than the tea bags. I'll eat tea bags. I'll
Struds On.
I'm not a huge DJ guy. I mean, I guess if you hand me a couple glow sticks and a tight white t-shirt that I can get wet, maybe I'd be into it.
Struds On.
There's a lone steakhouse I used to go to down in Kentucky, and they had bowls of peanuts. I wasn't sucking on those ones. You need to have clean nuts. I'm talking about the kind you get in a bag at an Elks game. You know what I mean?
It's time for Struds On.
Struddy, how you doing, my man?
Tip top. What's up with you, buddy?
Oh, just counting down the days. I'm actually looking forward to the big Canada match tomorrow against Qatar. Maybe our first ever win. Are you into World Cup fever, Struddy?
I am. Yeah, like obviously the Canada games, and then like today I was watching a little bit of the English game. Kane on the Harry Kane on the kind of exciting. I mean, it's a world competition. Like obviously I love hockey and football and all that, but this is everyone in the world's into this sport, so pretty exciting. You got to be into it. Be aware.
So you look at the Oilers now. They're in a holding pattern here, waiting. Basically, it's going to come down. Does the NHL give them the green light or the red light? That's all we know here on Mike Babcock. I've had agents reach out to me, and I've seen Elliot Friedman and others talk about that. There are some concerns amongst players. Like the top guys were signed off on it, and I get that. Do you think once he's hired, those concerns will go away? Or do you think it's going to be an ongoing thing until he proves that he won't repeat the same moronic patterns he's done in the past?
Well, every coach that has ever, coached at anything, some players like them, some players dislike them, right? There's few that everyone universally loved their coach, and everyone has their own approach. Now, in the case of Mike Babcock, it's a little more elevated because he has, a history of many or quite a few players off of various teams he's coached with incidents. And so that kind of builds your repertoire or your reputation. And then we're like, okay, well, this is what's happened with this guy at different situations, different times. So I could see where there'd be some pause for players that are maybe, potential trade or signing, whatever it is, for them to come play for this player. The flip side is he's a pretty good hockey, he does have a pretty good hockey mind. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Connor and Leon are going to have to be advocates for the hire and for the coach, right? That's clear. They've signed off on it, but they definitely have to advocate for him. And when it comes to free agents, the same thing. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I think assistant coaches will matter. I'm not seem to be the only one beating the drum, and I know that it's important to have your head coach sort of, but you're going to want to have an assistant coach that has a little more personality to kind of offset that. And people mention DJ Smith. Now that may or may not be true. You might know more than I do, but I think that it's all part of the package you're trying to sell to prospective players coming, and who's selling it matters.
Yes. That does matter wholeheartedly, right? So free agency. I know some pending free agents in Edmonton have told the organization, hey, we just want to see who the coach is. Because who the coach is does matter for lots of players, Struddy. I'm sure for you, you know what, when you're a free agent and you're like, okay, well, you know what, I have a history with this coach. That gives you, like top end guys are different. But, I'm talking middle of the lineup, bottom of the lineup guys. It doesn't really matter what the GM thinks of you. It all matters what the coach thinks of you.
Well, you asked me that last week, and I said that, it matters who the coach is, more than the manager. Yes, the manager is the one who signs the contracts, but at the end of the day, the guy with control of the purse strings of the ice time is the head coach. So you want to know what he thinks of you. And after every time I signed, the head coach would call me if I didn't know them. And I remember I had a talk with Brian Sutter with the Blackhawks. He's the coach there, and he said, you know what, I see you in this role, this stuff. You're going to have to be rugged, basically saying I was going to have to get in some fights, and that was no problem. I was obviously comfortable with that. But I want to hear from that coach, and I want to hear what it's all about and what's coming down the pipe. So, yeah, it really does matter. And we haven't seen anyone sign really around the league at all, but I don't think it's helping Edmonton. You don't know who your coach is. And even like for Murphy, he's probably wondering, well, who am I going to play with? It sounds like he liked playing with Darnell Nurse, and you were in that room all the time. You might have better info on that, but is Darnell Nurse going to be here? And if not, who am I playing with? Well, first off, I don't know if Nurse is going to be here or not. And second of all, I don't even know who the guy is in charge who's going to be making those decisions, so I can't ask anyone to find out.
Yeah, fair. Very, very fair point. Now, when it comes to Darnell Nurse, Struddy, the Oilers can't just get, like, people are like, trading for Parker Wallace when he makes $1 million, you get all this free cap space. So what? Well, free cap space isn't as valuable as people think, because then you got to give up other assets if you want to acquire good players to use the cap space on, right? So that's one aspect of it. And free agency right now, unless you wait till July 6th, you're probably overpaying for a lot of guys in free agency.
Well, especially this year. I mean, it feels like, looking at the list, it's not the most robust list of free agents we've seen in the last number of years. So I think guys are going to get, at the higher end of that one, are going to get some pretty nice deals. Like you see Alex Tuck, he is not going to, it sounds like he's not going to sign, because he knows there's a number out there that he's going to hit, and that is going to ring that bell, and it's going to be more than 10. So, then it works its way all the way down to the guys in the middle of that, and then further down. So, yeah, I mean, it does make a difference. I'll be interested to see how it all shakes down with who you trade Darnell for, and what do you have to retain? Do you get what you get back? Are you looking get back and forth? Like, are the Oilers, if they're sitting there saying, okay, we know we can sign Connor Murphy because we've just, Babcock's the coach. So is it Wallman, Murphy, then Ekholm, Bouchard, and then, Emerson, and maybe Stastny, or you go and find someone else to replace those minutes? Like Sealer in Philly, I don't mind that player. And, his cap hit isn't awful. He's in a third pairing D, but is that a good enough third pairing D, Emerson and Sealer? Can those two be penalty killers? Because maybe you want to pull some weight off of Ekholm. But if he's not killing penalties on the power play, maybe, is that what he wants too? So it's really complicated, but obviously you're going out canvassing to see what type of deal you can get from Nurse, and then hopefully you have an option or two that makes the most sense.
Struddy, we've seen 3 trades in a row now, and there's lots of talk that there's going to be some more. The Maple Leafs go out and get Hiller. Now, just because they played a system in LA doesn't mean he's going to play the same system there in Toronto. At least I wouldn't think so, because the system didn't work nearly as well as people think. Like, now, maybe he's got some tendencies to help the defensive side of Toronto. But if you're going to play that boring style, guess what? You're not going to win. It's proven. LA hasn't won a playoff series since 2014. It does not win anymore.
Well, that 1-3-1 that they played there I can tell you, it's really boring to play. Like, I don't know. There's many, obviously I don't know players that are like, yeah, let's just sit back and let them come at us, and then we'll hopefully counterpunch and go get them. You want to play on your toes. Just ask the Carolina Hurricanes how that works, playing on your toes. Now you need a style and everyone to believe in doing that and playing that way. And yeah, it takes some work to collect the right type of players. But yeah, I think Hiller, he's going to go in there with a fresh start. I think the things that is good for him, he knows the 2 stars there because he was there previously. He knows the market, and then he's got to find a way to get these guys to play differently. Now, I like the move they made yesterday to trade for that Andre Young or youngish D-men to kind of move the puck, not the biggest guy. And I think they need more of that in their lineup because, the best way to not play D is to not actually be in your end, to having a defense. So you got to move that puck up and then get more movement on their blue line, the offensive blue line, and trying to create, east-west, north-south in the offensive blue line. But, and I didn't even know he was an option. And you kind of go through, okay, I guess, you look at the other guys that were there, some inexperienced, some with a track record, some like Woodcroft still trying to get their second chance. I kind of see it now. You have to, deliver. You got to deliver and see what you can make happen.
Yeah. The Edmonton Elks, Struddy, they will honor Dwayne Mandruzak at halftime. They also take on a Montreal team who's 2-0. The Elks are undefeated. They won their first game of the season for the first time since 2019. Now they'll try to go 2-0 for the first time since 2019. It's early in the season. I honestly thought week 1 was like a must-win game for the team, just to build some momentum, have some positivity around it. This is not a must-win game, but man, this is a really big opportunity to send a message. Like, you can end the winning streak of a guy who's never lost in the regular season. Davis Alexander's 13-0. There's some big opportunities here early in the year for the Elks. They get a win.
There is. So there's, I love what you're talking about. There's opportunity here to send a message. So there's a message being sent to the rest of the league, like, hey guys, we're legit. We've been kind of getting beat up in recent years. Things got a little bit better last year. But we're now not the same team. We're not going to be that team that just takes it off the chin week in and week out. But I think even more importantly than that is the message you're sending within that dressing room. That like, hey, this is legit. Like, we are now a team that is coming to win, not just compete. And even if let's say they don't even win this weekend, but they have put up a good fight and they're in it till the end, or maybe it's a touchdown or whatever that's a difference. That is important. You need to send that, so in that room you can feel good about yourself. And I've been on teams before where like you're not sure if you're good or bad to start the season, and all of a sudden you start winning, like, holy geez, and it starts to take a life on its own. Like, maybe we are a good team. Then other teams fall off. You're like, what the hell is going on? Maybe we are a team. And then halfway through the year in the playoff spot, like, this is actually working pretty well. So there's 2 messages that need to be sent, and looking forward to see what they can do.
I'm quite excited. Now, I know they have limitations on what they can do. Just Fajardo doesn't have an overly strong arm, so they're never going to be beating guys over the top very often, right? The odd time, sure, but lots of QBs can throw it, 55 plus yards in the air. That's just not him. So, and that's fine. So you kind of got to go with what you have. Rankin's the guy that they have to build the offense around, no question. Get him 20 touches minimum a game and see what he can do, because man, in week 1, like, you look at those 2 touchdown runs, Struddy. Those are 2 of the most dynamic runs that started with him just juking and driving in the backfield.
A talented guy, right? And, and you're trying to, you're looking for things that you can now put in, say, this is what we're going to be, or this is how it looks, and just kind of, staples for your organization, for your team. And that builds confidence, because, when things aren't going well, we can always do this or do that. Whereas in past years, it's been kind of, I hope this can happen, or I hope that I can make this happen.
One last one, Struddy. Do you, outside of Nurse, any other Oiler you think gets moved before the start of next season?
Oh man, you know what? People aren't probably like this, but I might say Ike Howard, and not that I think that and this is why. Not listen, I got to be careful. It's again, not that I don't like the player, but is there a world where you can have Savoy, Hudson, and maybe Howard all on the same team now? Are they all going to be on the team at the lineup? I'm not sure. But if there's an opportunity to move them for something that you need, he seems to be the most attractive piece of the Oilers, what they have, outside of their NHL roster. Am I missing someone else?
No, I'm not. I don't know where I come out yet on Hudson, if he's going to be an NHL guy or not, right? I'm much higher on Howard as an NHL player. I think he's a little quicker. I think he's a little bit better pure shooter. Hudson had a great run early on in the American League and then really slowed down. So, Howard is a shooter. So unless you're trading him for a proven shooter, I don't see why you trade him. Because that's why you acquired him, because you're like, what's a void in our organization? We don't have a young shooter, right? Like Matt Savoy has always been more of a passer. Now, maybe Savoy can morph into a shooter, but if you look at his junior days, he was still, he was a 30-goal guy in junior grade, but he was more of a shooter, a passer, right? And he did score some goals last year, right? But you saw him struggled hitting the net at times. He's not a natural shooter. Now, that doesn't mean it can never change and morph into one, but and even if you have one, I wouldn't mind having two. So you can trade anybody, but that's an interesting name you brought up. I'm
not trading it because I don't like him. I got to be clear. But if you're looking for something with value, but I think I am interested to see what a full summer of training as a pro looks like for him.
100%.
And I can tell you from year 1 to year 2, I changed a lot, and I was still in the minors, so he may be as well. But it does make a big difference because you're like, I got to do this, and you got to get stronger, or faster, or whatever it is, and you now know what to expect. So if he can come in and play for the Oilers this year, that is a huge thing, and they need that. They need that guy to come in and do that because it fills a spot, and maybe they have a spot lined up for him already. I don't know, but that would be humongous for the team.
Yeah, for sure. Struddy, have yourself a wonderful weekend. Is Canada going to get the first ever win, the men's side in the World Cup tomorrow?
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, and then is Davies going to play? Is he not? They could sure use him.
I don't expect.
They can use some scoring.
Yeah, I don't expect him to play tomorrow. Okay. Because he's got to get clearance from his club. And something tells me we might not see him unless they make it to the elimination round.
Fair point.
Yeah, I guess there's a slight chance he plays next Wednesday, but I just think they got a lot of money invested in him, man. So they're going to have a big say, especially because just of the recent injury and re-aggravating it stuff. I think there's going to be a lot of patience in that. Oh, an extra week. Oh, another week. Yes, we'll keep waiting. So I get
fair point.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the game.
Struddy, you too. That's Jason Strudwick from the Got Your Back podcast. Quick break. We'll come back. We got 5 questions. Mark Spector and more. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Mr. Rooter buries evidence in the desert.
I didn't mean to do it. I was forced into it. Yeah, forced. But now, no one will ever know. You've done well, Mr. Rooter. You did something awful, but you've covered your tracks. It's done. The last transcript that shows I did a semester of electrician school.
Uncover evidence of the proudest plumber, Mr. Rooter. Tee up at the 2026 Golf-a-thon presented by Popeye Supplements June 19th at Rundle Park, supporting the University Hospital Foundation. Golf all day long for $250, including a cart and food. GoTrackSocialClub.com.
Just in time for the big game. Score big savings at the Brick. Save up to $1,300 off sofas, up to 25% off bedroom and dining packages, plus save up to 40% on select mounts. And buy more, save more. Up to $1,000 off select major appliances. Watch Team Canada score big on a big screen TV, up to 50% off open box electronics. See in-store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Get the lowdown with Low Tide. Weekdays from noon to 2 on Sports 1440. He's seen it all and then some. From stats to stories, he breaks it down like no one else. Proud to be Edmonton sports leader. Sports 1440.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit FountainTire.com today.
Why should you drive a Subaru? How about durability, style, and an excellent customer experience from the moment you step into the showroom? And how about accolades, including awards for numerous 2026 Subaru models from both AutoTrader and JD Power? But don't just take my word for it. Take a test drive and you'll see why the Subaru name is recognized and renowned for quality. To learn more, visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
Sharing. It's simple. It's what we were raised to do. But somewhere along the line, the world got bigger, colder, and the idea of sharing got lost. But not at service. Because when you bank with us to reach your goals, we share our profits in cash, just for banking with us. From mortgages, investments, daily banking, and more, our profits circle back to you. Bank more, get more money back. Full circle banking, only at Surface Credit Union.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers, and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned. Over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Are new McCafe crafted sodas just drinks or something more? Like Sprite Berry Bliss, Creamy Strawberry Coke, and Orange Dream. All swirled with fizzy flavor and topped with silky cold foam. Only at McDonald's. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through, man. It's a fast show again. There's so much going on in the sports world right now. I love it. We're inching closer to the draft, NBA draft next week, NHL draft next week, free agency after that, World Cup. We're going to get to some elimination games soon. Of course, round 2 of the round robin starts tomorrow. Then next Wednesday is the beginning of round 3. So we'll follow it the late June. What is it? The 28th, I think, is the first elimination game. So it's awesome. Fun month. U.S. Open. Men's golf tees up today as well. So we'll get to, tomorrow. We'll get to that also. And of course, CFL, the Elks. They're starting a stretch. They did have a bye, but now they'll start a stretch of 10 consecutive weeks where they play all the time. No bye weeks at all. So should be good. They're trying to get a win at home Saturday afternoon against the Alouettes. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Casino, sports, live dealer, lottery, instance, all in one place at PlayAlberta.ca, including the Gregor Show odds boost daily special. So get in on those. We got some little Elks action for you, some MLB and more. As we get to 5 questions now, brought to you by The Brick, where you can save up right now $1,300 off of sofas on the big savings, $650 on sectionals, 40% off select mattresses and more at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1 today. Did you like the Jim Miller hire for the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Well, I found it interesting that every Maple Leaf coach that they've hired, Connor, has either been in a Stanley Cup final or previously worked with the organization. I saw that stat came out today. So you'd wonder that maybe you'd want to buck that trend considering you haven't won in 59 years. So I don't know. It's coach is only as good as his players. Is the team that much better suddenly? No, I don't know. So it'll probably be okay. We'll see if they can improve. Are they getting better defensive players? Because that's really kind of been their downfall.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, I don't mind it. I guess he has that familiarity. Like you said, was an assistant there for a few years. That's a crazy stat because they've had 41 head coaches, I read. So, wow. But overall, I'm more impressed probably the way they kept it quiet. And all of a sudden, it was just announced. There was no reports. It's official. We'll see how it plays out. Obviously, tough opponents in the playoffs the last couple of years here for them to get out of the first round. But it's yet to be seen. I'll say for now, I like it, but we'll see. Question number 2, to elaborate on the coaching hires in the NHL this offseason, is there one that stands out, maybe you like the most?
Go ahead.
I mean, I'd probably go with Peter Laviolette for the LA Kings. Obviously, I think he's a really head coach. I think the track record shows it. Had some success, never, since 2006, obviously hasn't won a cup. But I think he's been a really good coach where he's gone and had some success in the playoffs. So I'll go with the LA Kings for that reason.
I'm going to go with Vancouver because it shows they're sticking to a plan. We are in a full-on rebuild.
Question number 3 for you. You can have 3 picks here. Who's your pick, though, to take the title of the U.S. Open champion this weekend out in New York?
Well, if
you take Scotty, you have to pick 3 more.
Yeah, well, I'm taking Scheffler for sure. Then. He's probably due, right? Scheffler and Schauffele, I'll go with. I'll stick with my bias pick every time, Corey Connor. And would be a surprise, maybe. How about oh man, why am I forgetting his name? No, that's too much of a long shot. There's no chance. Yeah, I'll just go. Those are my 3.
What was the name you're thinking of?
I was going to say Ricky Fowler, but that's never happened.
That's like my pick I'm going to do. Jordan Spieth. I just want him to get back on the top. I like that guy. He started off so good. It's been a while. So I'll throw Jordan Spieth in there as my extreme long shot. I'll go Cam Young and another one that's not too crazy, but Rory. I'm a big fan of Rory. So those will be my 3. Question number 4 for you. Let's get the official prediction. Canada, Qatar tomorrow afternoon. What's going to happen?
Canada's going to win. Honestly, I think their team is going to be crisper offensively. And they will score 2 goals.
2-0?
Yes, 2-0.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Canada has to find a way to get this one done here. You look at what Qatar was able to do against Switzerland. A ton of shots, but how many were getting through? They had 27 shot attempts, only 10 got through. So you got to be ready for that. Qatar probably doesn't mind collapsing a little bit here. I was going to take Canada to win 2-0 as well. But to be different, let's say goal explosion. I'll go 3-0. Canada gets the job done tomorrow in Vancouver. Final question for you today. It is National Thank a Teacher Day. So do you, Jason, have a teacher that you would like to thank? One of your favorites of all time?
Ooh. I'll have 2. She wasn't my favorite teacher, but her message that she wrote on an exam of mine was like a really good direct shot to my laziness. She wrote on my test, "This is an insult to my intelligence." Because I didn't do anything. I didn't study. It was, and all it wasn't like a big final. It was just it was in math 30, and it was just like one, like you got whatever you're doing the section test, right? So it wasn't a major one. It probably didn't have a huge amount of weight on the scene, probably like 2% maybe or something like that. But like my mark was awful, like beyond awful, beyond embarrassing. I think I'd skipped a few classes or something. And it was just like a wake up call here. Like, oh my God, like that was a really good, I think, direct shot. It was an insult to her intelligence. So Madame Chofin, that was very well received. It got my attention. Well done. And Ron Durda for sure would be the teacher at Nate. Had many excellent chats with Ron. He had so much great advice that really helped me out, stuff that I've remembered a lot during my career. And so I'd go with Ron Durda.
All right. I'm going to go with at Shep, we had a teacher named Mr. Irwin, taught English, and he was a very cool guy. Worked as a park ranger before becoming a teacher. Had a good message. Like, you don't always have to kind of rush to your profession. You'll figure it out eventually. And then in grade 4, Miss DeVos, who passed away a couple of years ago, RIP. One Gregor, she actually is the reason I have glasses, because she pointed out that I was squinting the whole time during class. She called me out on something the following year, because I was supposed to be one of the helpers for a crossing guard, and I was late. I felt her wrath on that time. But she also gave us Game 7 of the Oilers Stars series in 1997, the night off from homework. Partly because it was Curtis Joseph's birthday, but also it was Game 7. So I was able to watch that game without having to have the stress of doing homework. So Miss DeVos was a great teacher as well.
Awesome. I love it. Teachers, man. Hey, good people in any walk of life. There's lots of really good teachers. There's lots of really good. There's I think exceptions to the rule. That some that aren't as good. And you know what? Each of us have had it. But even then, when you have a bad teacher, you can still learn from it. Because in life, sometimes you're going to have a bad boss. Not all your bosses are going to be great. And you're going to have to learn how to deal with them. It's just like a coach. You having a bad coach isn't a great experience. Hopefully it's not a terrible coach, just a bad coach. And, maybe the coach doesn't like you. Maybe the coach is too biased towards people they know or whatever it is. But that's also something that's a good life lessons, because how you react to it, how you handle it, how you deal with it, because sadly, later on in life, you're probably going to experience something like that in the workforce or somewhere else. So that's great.
I should probably say my dad. He was a teacher as well. Didn't teach me, so.
Hey, Gregor, if a teacher wrote that comment on a test nowadays, he'd be fired on the spot. Kevlar. Why? Why would they be fired? Well, first of all, if they wrote that on my son's test because keep in mind, I don't have a son in high school, so anybody out there who does. This is in high school, this is in grade 12. I didn't show my parents that test. Like, my parents weren't asking for every single mark on every, I don't even know if they knew. It wasn't midterm or anything like that. It was just I think we had an every second Friday kind of smaller test to know if you knew the section very well. So I don't know. And as a kid, I sure wasn't complaining about it. She was right. She was bang on. It wasn't insult or intelligence because I didn't put in the work. So I do think at times we maybe can overreact, but I can tell you right now, if I was a parent and my kid had lollygagged that bad and didn't study and didn't do anything and got a horrific mark, and the teacher wrote that on his exam, I'd ask him, is she wrong? Because if she's not wrong, she didn't swear. She didn't insult me. She said it was an insult to her intelligence. That's what's great about it. Let's get a quick break. We'll return after Connor Halley, Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC, where the Road Trip Ready event is on now. Their biggest sale of the year. You want to stop in and ensure your vehicle is ready to roll? You can get a great vehicle, Corvettes and more. Check it out, northgategm.com.
The Sports 1440 update.
Today in the NHL, as the Vegas Golden Knights have found their next head coach, Ryan Craig, who was the head coach of their AHL affiliate, the Henderson Silver Knights, the past 3 seasons. And in Toronto, Jim Hiller has been named the 41st head coach of the organization. He spent the last 3 seasons with the LA Kings before being fired in March. On the ice, San Jose Sharks acquiring Michael Kesselring and the 27th overall pick from Buffalo for the 20th pick in the upcoming NHL entry draft. At the World Cup today, it was England victorious over Croatia 4-2. Congo, Portugal tying at 1 apiece. A couple games going tonight. Ghana and Panama underway right now. Then at 8 o'clock, you've got Uzbekistan and Colombia. Major League Baseball, Blue Jays taking on the Red Sox. Scoreless on the top of the first. We'll join that game in progress following the Jason Gregor Show on our AM feed. Elsewhere, you got the Yankees and White Sox, Giants, Braves. Guardians take on the Brewers. Cubs host the Rockies, Orioles in Seattle. And the Athletics up against the Pirates. And finals at the Mets beating the Reds 9-1. Nationals losing at home 6-2. Marlins over the Phillies 12-4. And the Diamondbacks defeat the Angels 8-1. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Dennis Bernstein from the 4th period. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Summit Restaurant, Located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common, Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails.
.ca YouTube.
Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience
what's up with you?
where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
In their
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers
Show
with the
again.
perfect glass for
What's going
any
on?
job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. Mortgagestogo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly, guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say,
Are you a skilled laborer? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience, All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All-Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Hey, it's Jamie from Green Drop Lawn Care. They may be teeny tiny, but chinch bugs can completely devastate your lawn or garden. If you have yellowing grass that doesn't improve with watering, you may already have them. At Green Drop, we'll identify them, treat them, and help you recover from the damage before it's out of control. Stop chinch bugs cold with Green Drop Lawn Care, Canada's lawn expert since 1979. Find out more and get started at greendrop.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Big jobs, tight spaces, serious reliability. Emerald Equipment is now your local Yanmar dealer. Compact track loaders, mini excavators, wheel loaders, tough, reliable machines built for any job. JapaMachinery.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock. Lovely Wednesday afternoon. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Sports 1440. Sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. As always, watching the show. Busy Wednesday in the world of sports. We had a trade. Kesselring's now a member of the Sharks, and then they swap the Sharks, go from the 20th pick down to 27, and Buffalo moves up from 27 to 20th. So, and the Sharks, well, now they have two defensemen signed. Dickinson, 3. So, veteran guys. Dickinson, younger guy, and he'll probably play. They got Mac Medulin, who's on an RFA contract, and then we'll see. Vinny Desharnais, will he test the free agent waters? Might do it. He might do it. Why wouldn't you, man? Do a Brett Kulak. Remember when Brett Kulak tested the market, then still signed in Edmonton once you got to see what was out there? You never know what's out there. So you kind of owe it to yourself. Check it out. All it takes is one, man. All it takes is one. We see it every year. Somebody's like, what? How much are they paying him? And with the cap going up, teams are going to spend even more. It's just how it goes. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 is where you can text us as we get to Le Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists, and they are hiring, looking for top men, operators, pipe layers, and more. Go to gsconstruction.ca. Look up careers. It's Mark Spector joins us, and Spec, the no second guessing anymore. It's over. Cassidy is not going to be allowed to interview them, which I didn't expect to, but Kelly McCrimmon said, hey, we'll go on an individual basis each one, and Edmonton is not a team that they're going to allow their coach to negotiate with or interview with, I should say. And I get why they do it. I know some people don't like it, but I understand why Vegas is doing it.
What do you understand? Why won't they do it?
Well, because it's their biggest rival, and they have the right to do it. It's in the contract. It says we don't have to grant it. And once the Oilers hire a coach, watch Spec, he'll be able to interview with anybody. They just don't want him to interview with Edmonton. They're like, hey, there's 30 other teams you can interview. You're not interviewing with Edmonton.
Okay, so you say you understand why, but you didn't tell me why. You told me how.
Well, no, why? Because it's their biggest rival, and you don't want him. Like, because a guy gets fired doesn't mean he's a terrible coach. In a lot of cases, it just means his time has run out for that group.
Oh, sure. Like, listen, it's like saying there's only one guy that could coach the Oilers to a cup. No, there isn't. There's a whole bunch of guys. It's the players that play the game. So to me, like, the reason why, if we're talking about why Vegas did it, I think they look exceptionally insecure and paranoid about this. This is juvenile. It's Bush League. It's insecure as hell. Oh my God. They're one coach away from being better than us. I got news for you. Have you seen the record? Edmonton versus Vegas the last 3 years? They already beat you for fun, right? The Oilers beat Vegas for fun. They won like 5 of the last 6 or 7 or something in Vegas. They beat them in the playoffs last time. They beat them this year in all the important games. So what are you telling me? They're going to beat me more? Like, I think, listen, do what you want to do. My theory on something like this, Jay, we all have opportunities in our life to be a real dick when we want to. And at that moment, we have to look at it and say, okay, what am I going to be here? Am I going to be that guy, or am I going to be somebody else? And right now, Vegas has chosen, and it's a willful choice to be, obstinate, paranoid, insecure, and exercise their right to be bleeps. That's all they're doing. Sorry.
Yeah. See, I look at it. I think there's a serious rivalry, and I think that, and so I really think there's a little bit of dislike between the two organizations.
Sure. That's
fair. And
there
so
should be. There should be.
So there should be. So I don't understand why it's a big deal then, if it's your biggest rival and you don't really like him, to grant him the opportunity to interview the coach. Like, you're still paying him. Like, you're paying him. I don't view it as insecurity. I view it as dislike is how I view it. Right? It might look like a jerk, but sometimes people are, you know what? You're not harming anyone in this process here. It's not like he's starving. He's getting paid not to work.
Yep. I'm not saying any of that is untrue. They have a choice. It's the ball's in their court, right? They can do what every other NHL team in the history of the NHL has done, which is, keep some version of loyalty to a guy who won you a cup and let him go where he wants to go. The guy wants to coach in Edmonton, and you're standing in his way. So you're not just screwing the Oilers. You're also dealing Bruce Cassidy a tough hand. I get it. You're paying him. Sure you are. Sure you're paying him. But he'd rather take someone else's money and go work for the Oilers. But you're standing in the way of that. That's a conscious choice Vegas is making, right? That's fine. They've chosen to be a roadblock, right? That's okay. No one else has done that ever that I can think of, but Vegas is doing that. It makes them different. No one else has done it before. Now Vegas is doing it. And I think it's insecure. I think that the Oilers are going to find a coach, and they're going to be the team they're going to be anyway. Don't tell me that Cassidy has some secret sauce to beat Vegas because he knows them. What a bunch of garbage. Everybody knows them, right? How many times the Oilers played them? The Oilers know them already. So I think they look insecure and kind of petty, my friend.
How do you think the Oilers look by standing pat on Mike Babcock?
Oh, that's a completely separate conversation. So let's switch to it, right? If Babcock's the best you're going to do here, I don't. An organization that made us a lot of promises when they hired Stan Bowman that they were going to be better and look in the mirror and learn from past mistakes and all blah, blah, blah. They're hiring the worst guy out there, the worst person out there. So no. This isn't me. Like, again, this is separate conversations. I said what I said about Vegas. Now we're talking about
that was my switch. That was my transition. I didn't think there was
that's a transition. And the Oilers also look in their own way exceptionally bad these last couple of weeks. And I look I shouldn't say I look forward to. I will attend the press conference when Babcock is announced here, with sitting next to Stan Bowman, who made us a bunch of promises a few years ago that he was going to be part of the solution with Sheldon Kennedy at his side. How come they're hiring the biggest bully in the game? And what happened to the respect group and all that, all those words that were spoken, Jay, at that press conference? Where'd that go?
Yeah, no, buddy. That's a total fair question. That's why I asked it. I agree. It is not a good look for the organization at all. And we'll see what happens. I guess, the only thing that stops them is if the NHL says no bueno. It's not going to happen. So we'll see. But we now, while they're waiting for that, I'm still assuming they're going to try to facilitate some trades, because if you're going to trade Darnell Nurse, you're going to trade him regardless of who your head coach is, right? Like that.
Yes, you are.
I don't think that's going to matter at all. And trade season has begun in the NHL. No major trades yet, but 3 days with actual NHL players being moved to teams. And I'm kind of curious here on the Darnell Nurse front. I've dug around on its spec a little bit, and it's obviously you're never going to get a full answer on, okay, we're offering this, right? No one's ever going to tell you that, right? Like that's foolish. But I think the public perception of what Nurse value is seems to be different than some hockey people that I've talked to.
Yeah, I think part of this process is teams trying to figure out, what do I have to give up for Darnell Nurse? Like normally when you're trading for an everyday veteran, a 19-minute defenseman, you're giving up a certain amount, like a fair bit. Now, this guy comes with too big of a contract. So now we start to talk about retention. And now we start to talk about, maybe I can give you back a contract that I'm not that fond of having on my payroll. It's not a normal trade, and who else is out there? What are they offering? Like this, Stan Bowman's trying to get out of this thing with an actual player coming back that you like, right? That's what he wants.
Yes.
And teams are, I was talking to someone yesterday, and teams aren't, where are we on this thing? Do I have to give Stan an actual player that we both like back? Or can I give him a guy back that I don't like so much, that gets too much money? Yeah. Can I give him back that player that we both agree on, that we both like, but then he's going to eat $3 million of the contract? Like this isn't just a straight hockey trade as usual. And I think that once Bowman can get 3 or 4 offers or 3 or 4 general managers to sort of bargain against each other to set a market, right? What is the market?
Yeah.
What's the market for Darnell Nurse? I'm not sure. Stan would be probably well into that by now, and I'm not privy to the information completely. But that market has to get set, and I'm not sure how set it is.
Yeah, that's it's one where I find the opinions vary greatly on it.
Yeah.
And that's where, just like in free agency spec, all it takes is one person and one GM and one team to be like, all right. And then the trade gets facilitated and maybe the return is better than you think. But I don't know. It seems like a lot of people think you just got to give away Nurse for nothing. And I don't stand in that corner. I could be wrong, but I don't stand there.
It's too easy to evaluate Evan Bouchard on a one highlight reel giveaway and just throw the rest of his game away. Like, how stupid is that? It's too easy to look at Darnell Nurse and say, oh, look, there's a play where he's playing against McKinnon's line and the puck goes in and he's lying down to block a pass that never came. And look at how bad that player is. Yeah, what about the other 19 and a half minutes he played that game? What about all the other things he brings to your team? So this I think part of what we're falling into sometimes is social media and the people out there who just, Darnell Nurse is bad at hockey. Yeah, sure. Bad at hockey. Right. Those guys always make me laugh. How many NHL games have you played, buddy? Right. Darnell Nurse is damn good at hockey and he makes a little bit too much money. There's some strengths. There's some weaknesses like every player, but there's a very useful NHL defenseman in there. And I'm here to tell you, if teams are making trades to get the Michael Kessel rings of the world, Darnell Nurse is a better player.
Oh yeah, well yeah, that's kind of obvious. I would hope
he is. He's a better player.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's no brainer for sure. Mark Spector joins us. Spec, what did you make of the Hiller move to Toronto?
Wow. Well, interesting, and I'm seeing some stats out there about how unbelievably effective a coach he was in terms of team defense in LA, and how LA under him had. They allowed the least 5-on-5 and they allowed the least goals and stuff. But all of us out west who watched them play a lot and in all the important games that they played in the last 5 years, we all know the real story here. Yeah, they didn't give up very many goals. They scored less half the time, right? Sure. He locked her down. You think that style of play is going to go over him in Toronto? The way the Kings have played the last 5 years? No, it's not. You can't go there and line up at center ice and back off the way the Kings did. So,
God,
this is sort of statistical cherry picking. Wow, he's a great defensive coach. Oh, is that so? Okay, so tell me about the style he played. Well, I don't know what style he played, Jay. I just see they allowed not very many goals. Okay, well, if you watch him play, you know why they didn't allow many goals. And you know why they lost in the first round every single year, right? So and they got some stuff to learn about this guy in Toronto is my point. I don't think they watch enough Kings games out there. How about that?
Yeah, and the truth of the matter is, I don't think you can play that system in Toronto. I don't think they will. I think most coaches know that you can play different styles. Everybody has a certain way that you gravitate towards, and maybe that's it. He's actually had some pretty good power play numbers, although it was awful in LA. I'm not sure how much of an insight he had into it, but it was terrible in LA. Ask any Kings players until they got Kuzmenko. Then all of a sudden it got good again. But I'll be interested to see here a lot of people think there might be a battle over DJ Smith, right? So if you're DJ Smith, do you wait till the investigation's over? Or do you take the guaranteed job? So that could be an interesting sidebar to the Jim Hill hiring, right? Because honestly, you're like, well, okay, yeah, geez, hey, you know what? I'll bring you here if I'm going. Now, what about Paul Coffey, Spec? Because we know Chris Knobloch got let go. Paul Coffey has a lot of say in the organization. Is he coming back, do you think, as an assistant coach?
I don't. There's one guy that knows for sure it's Daryl Cates. Okay, I'm here to tell you. He'll call that shot. If he wants him as coach, he's going to be part of the hiring process. By the way, you're hiring Paul Coffey. So I think we could say today, if you hire Mike Babcock, do you think the first guy he looks around in his world and hires as the guy to change his defense is Paul Coffey? I don't know of any former relationship there. I don't think that Babcock is the first guy he'd reach out to hire his Coffey. So I think I would say to you that if Coffey ends up behind the bench, it's because of Cates. And I'm not diminishing Paul here. Paul's a good coach. Paul can coach. But I don't love a situation where the owner cherry picks an assistant and throws him behind your staff. That's not functional, is it, Jason?
No, I don't think it's ideal, no. But, I'll say this about Paul Coffey. There would be no Babcock bullying if he was on the staff.
Well, is that what we're doing now?
I'm not saying it's not, but yeah, that would be a sad state.
Is that what we're doing? Are we putting a governor guy in there, a cop? Are we putting the cop in there next to Babcock to make sure that he doesn't go back to his old ways? Is that what we're doing? Is the guy? I don't like speaking ill of Paul Coffey because I got a ton of respect of him, and this isn't me honestly, folks, I'm not trying to beat up on Paul, but when you put yourself in the position where the owner slides you behind the bench because that's who he wants there, people look at you and say, well, what, like, are you reporting to the owner? Do you report to the coach? What are you doing back there? I don't love the position it puts Paul Coffey in, Jason. I think it makes Paul Coffey in a very difficult spot.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, over the past couple of years, people look at any guy the owner selects and hand picks, he becomes the mole for the owner. That's how hockey people look at it. And if you take that job, that's how they're going to look at you. And I don't, if Paul Coffey stays in this organization as some type of high management guy or working for Cates, that's awesome. But a head coach deserves the right to pick his assistant coaches. The owner shouldn't be picking one for him.
Yeah, I would agree. That's fair. Beck, enjoy the night. We'll chat with you tomorrow. Maybe we'll have a 4-day trade streak in the NHL.
Boy, let's go. Let's go. Maybe one of them will involve the team in our town for a change, huh?
Yeah, that Dare to Dream, Spec. Dare to Dream. Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. We will return and we will talk about one of the new moves in the NHL next. And one of two. There's been two moves, so we'll discuss both of them next. And the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Listen up, friends. Operation Pizza is a go at Papa John's. They're introducing new personal pizzas just in time to celebrate the premiere of Toy Story 5. These adventure-sized pies come in new exciting flavors like Sheriff's Roundup, Space Ranger-oni, and Reach for the Pie. Or take your personal pizza to infinity and beyond by creating your own flavor just for you. Order 2 or more with Papa Pairings and get yours for only $9.99 each. New personal pizzas are ready for takeoff. See Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 5 in theaters June 19th.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fan. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and this is the time of the year most RV stores wish their lot was full. At the new RV stores, product is trickling in, mostly just for taking orders. But having an RV on order doesn't mean much when the weather's great for camping today.
No Bull has hundreds of quality used RVs on the lot now. Right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. Walk into No Bull RV today and you could be in the great outdoors next weekend. No waiting, no hoping it'll be here by summer, just the perfect used trailer, motorhome, fifth wheel, or toy hauler that you need.
And every RV at No Bull is one of a kind.
Every family is one of a kind too, Bob. Think we can't find the perfect one for you? Take a look around. At No Bull, you'll save thousands compared to the cost of a new RV. You can build your summer plan on hope Or you can know for sure. And ask about our Camp Ready service plan when you're here to make this the best summer yet.
And that's no bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Mortgages to Go. Need cash and have equity in your home? Mortgages to Go has you covered. When the bank says no, they say yes, and they've been doing it in Alberta for over 23 years. Call 1-888-888-5998 or visit mortgagestogo.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through a Wednesday afternoon. Happy hump day. You made it through. Now it's just downhill from here, baby, into the weekend. I love it. Got over the hard 3 days. 60% through. Nice. Gregor Show is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Lotto 649. Tonight, your chance. $14 million. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. As we are going to talk a little National Hockey League. Good buddy of the show from the fourth period, Dennis Bernstein, joins us. DB, how you doing, my man?
Doing great, JG. You know, this morning I had a plan, wake up, watch some World Cup, some afternoon baseball. My phone blows up. I'm like, what is this? Is there an issue? I looked at my phone and I laughed. That was the start of my day. Jim Hiller in Toronto. So, yes, and very interesting. And I think, even though it's Chris, I think it's a safe hire, Jason, because there's familiarity here. He knows the market. He's worked for the organization. He knows the media. I'm not sure how to handle it. We go back to 2 seasons ago, me and him after Game 3. I want to see how his reaction is with the media after the first 2-game losing streak in preseason. So it's interesting that they had a guy who coached from the gut. In Berube. Now they're going to a guy who basically goes to the whiteboard, and I've seen it a lot in his practices. The whiteboard's always out there, so they think he's a teacher. They think he could raise the level of the offense. Now, that team in Toronto has the same challenge as LA does, especially on the blue line. They can't manufacture the offense from the blue line, and that was one of the biggest criticisms of Jim Hiller once he got canned here in Los Angeles.
Well, and that, to me, like, you're only as good as your players as a coach. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
Like, you can't take B-level players and suddenly make them all A-level players, right?
Well, but that's what Toronto's thinking, though. They think he can raise the level. And my question to you is, this guy got fired, 3-4 months ago. He didn't raise the level of any player, to be honest with you. Byfield was better when DJ Smith came in place and put in a new system, right? Turcotte never developed, right? They just hasn't gotten there. Their offense regressed. He had to take over the power play that was bottom 5 in the league. The scoring was bottom 5 in the league. So there was a bump because if you look at his record, Jason, his regular season record's really good, but his playoff failures haunt him, and he's carrying that to Toronto. And Toronto's biggest issue isn't talent; it's winning in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, 100%. You look at what'd you make of the Laviolette acquisition by the Kings, the hire, I should say.
Okay, it's a win now move. It's absolutely. I tell you what, those players better be in shape. Open day 1 of training camp. I wrote a piece on it in the fourth period. 5 men up, and that's a challenge for Kenny Holland. He doesn't have a 2 seed right now. If Lawton leaves, he doesn't have a 3 seed, right? And he's got 1 puck mover on the blue line. I'll say this, and I joke with Kings fans. Could you imagine, Jason? And it probably won't happen. Opening night, one of the pairs in LA, Nurse and Cece. Could you just imagine that? I'd have to cancel my social media account if that actually happened. But I like they want to win now. There's no rebuilding in Los Angeles, Jason. There isn't. And I think this will help. When you look at it, I get the deficiencies on this team, but there is some talent. You look at the 4 wingers on this team. And I know you don't want wingers. Panarin, Kempe, a healthy Fiala, and Alex Laferriere. It's legit top 6 wingers. Like Byfield, can he produce as a, here's the thing. With Laviolette, he'll get all the run he needs, Byfield. And this is a Byfield hire. A little bit for Brant Clark, but more so for Byfield. He's going to get the top minutes. He's going to get the tough matchups. He's going to get every possible unit. Laviolette's going to ride him. And it needs to take all the reins off of Brandon Clark. Like last year, Jason, Brandon Clark was the second most used player on the right side. Drew Doughty was first. That has to change. Brandon Clark was the best defenseman on that team, and he never they got to let him loose. So I like the hire for Los Angeles, but the coach matters, but the roster matters more. So let's talk about this hire for Laviolette on July 5th when I see what this team is on the depth chart.
Yeah, the Darnell Nurse rumored to LA. There's a lot of people talking about he's probably going to go out east. And it makes sense. I get it. Like LA's still in your own division, and it's a leader, all those sorts of things. But you look at LA, and we are 9 days from the draft, and then we're 2 weeks from free agency. Yeah. Ken Holland, I thought it was a clear note that he was changing the style of how this team is going to play when they went out and got Panarin, who's a legit top scorer in the NHL, right? Like there's no debate. The numbers don't lie. And they didn't have Fiala. I think when you have Fiala and Panarin, their power play should be good for sure. But where do you see them? How are they going to try to fill that Kopitar void?
Well, Byfield's going to be the 1C. And here's the one connection I make. I know that Vinny Trocheck turned down any possible trades. I get it. In season, you don't want to go to the West Coast, whatever. But Vinny Trocheck's best season was with Peter Laviolette. So maybe they re-explore that. And if they could do that, and they have Trocheck and Byfield 1-2 and get a serviceable 3C if Latney's already does sign, then you have a central spine. It's as simple as that. So you're not replacing Kopitar, Jason. It's as simple as that. You're not. You're going to have to piece it together. You're going to have to get probably two centers, one that can maybe handle the defensive void, and the other one who can create offense. So it's going to be a tough ask. And if you think that Byfield is going to replace Kopitar in year one as a 1C, he's going to have a lot of help. He's going to have maturity. We saw at the end of the season because he played very well with DJ Smith. But I think that's how they handle it. But you can't think that Byfield's just going to step in, assume the leadership role, the defensive responsibilities that Kopi had. He's not an unreplaceable player, but a very difficult to replace one here in Los Angeles.
Dennis Bernstein joins us here on Sports 1440. DB, I know you're tapped in a lot of things about the Kings. What do you think they're looking for in the draft?
I'm a Rams fan. My team won when they traded all the picks. I would trade that 17. I'd try to find a 2C, package it. They have good goaltending depth, and it takes an ounce to Ferrier to get a Vinny Trocheck. I have to look at that hard and know there's an age difference. Right, as simple as that. I'm trading out of that pick. I don't know what's a 17th overall pick going to help this team that wants to win now. It just doesn't make sense. And Kenny doesn't mind moving assets to get established players. So anyway, he would have to, if I'm him, I'm moving that 17th overall to try to get a 2C or a guy who can move the puck on the blue line.
Because you look at Scotty Lawton, Kuzmenko, I'm guessing isn't coming back. Is that a fair statement on my part? But what about Lawton? Do they want to try to bring him back?
Well, I think he loved playing under DJ Smith. And I think if DJ Smith would have been named head coach and they took the interim tag off, he probably would have signed there. Now it's a 50-50. Now he might hit free agency. He liked playing here. He was a great fit, Jason. Like I think if I would overpay for this player. I'm not saying $7 million a year, but he's making $3 million a year. Give him $4.5 million. They need him because I love the way he led in the room. He spoke all the time. He wanted to be here. He produced. He scored goals here, actually. Yeah. So that's it. So I would be making a big offer for that role and that position for that player. They'll have the cap space, but he was a great fit and certainly have a need there at 3C because Alex Turcotte, I think he's a lost cause at this point. No coach can unhinge what his talent was in the NHL. So they need a legitimate 3C. I think Lott would certainly be a great fit to continue here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, well, it's funny you mentioned the DJ Smith because there's lots of rumblings. People think that he might join Babcock if he gets cleared to play in Edmonton, or coach in Edmonton, excuse me. And the Oilers really need a third line center. And I think that Jason Dickinson's just going to get too much. I like Jason Dickinson as a player, but he scored double-digit goals once in his career. I'm not paying that guy $1 million. Like, I'm just not doing it. So if I get Scott Lawton at 3.5, to me, that's a win-win if I'm Edmonton. And you take away from a division rival. So that, to me, could be an interesting player to look at.
Oh, great. I think he's absolutely – he should be on a list of a lot of teams. I don't think he's going back to Toronto, obviously. But, yeah, I think, again, if Kenny's aggressive with this player, it will certainly help because of the lack of the 2C. If he knows he got a shot at Trocheck, then maybe you pass on him as 3C, and then you go find a guy at $1 million or $2.5 million, and there's plenty of those around the league. If he doesn't, I think he's got to be the best bidder for Lawton because they really need center production.
Yeah, wow. And you know what? He's a competitive player, played pretty well for them. He's somebody that if he gets it to free agent market, I think for sure he's on Edmonton's radar, which is just kind of one of those.
He's a very passionate player. You could see it on the ice. Those are the type of guys you want in the room and on your team.
Yeah. Any other notes? You look at the back end, like Drew Doughty's entering the final year of his contract. Like he's going to be a King for life if he wants to, right? Like obviously he's not going to have the same money on his next deal, but like he's not close to retiring, is he?
No, he wants to play, and that's the question. On our podcast, I know you have John Hoven on it. John thinks there's a possibility he could be traded, which is hard to believe. But if they can't agree, like here's the thing: if they can't agree on an extension before training camp, do you want him playing on his walk year all season, all the questions? Drew loves to live in Hermosa Beach, on the beach. He steps out of his house. He's on the beach. He loves it here. He's king for life, whatever. But he still wants to get paid. He's not going to play for $3 million a year. You probably go to Kopitar route, 1 year at a time, maybe $7 million. But he's got term. He's 35 years old. But just you got to pay him accordingly. He's now a second pair defenseman at best on this team. Right? He's not $11 million a year player. Yeah. Is there a scenario where he could leave? I think it's small. It's 5%, 10%. But you don't want him walking the camp without a decision on his future here past next season.
Okay. Yeah, that is hey, not everybody gets to finish their career in one place. That's just the truth about it, right? Like
here, I'll give you the analogy, Jason. Drew Doughty's at a fork in the road in Los Angeles. If he takes one path, it's Brown and Kopitar. You retire a King. They put you up in the rafters. No problem. There's a statue outside. You take the other road, it's Jonathan Quick.
Yeah.
Who's very angry at the franchise, who I think they'll have problems bringing him back when he now to retire his jersey. Is going to have to. It was very, very bitter. And if Drew goes that route and doesn't end as a King, you might have the same situation. He's facing the same road that these three players did. And there's a question to which path he takes.
Yeah, I would guess over time. I know Jonathan Quick's a very fiery guy, but I would guess over time, like anything, time heals all wounds a little bit. They invite him back.
It might take more than time, Jason.
Okay, I like that. Where do you come out, Dennis, on Vegas and their strategy? Say, hey, you know what? Kings no, Oilers no. On but I'm guessing it was Toronto's the team that he interviewed for. Some people think that it's terrible on their part. Others like, hey, it's business. Where do you come out?
Well, I'll go back to the press conference that Daly and Bettman had before Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. There are some coaches in this league that have clauses that would prevent this from happening, and Cassidy didn't have that. So blame his agent, blame his lawyer, blame him for not covering that base. He didn't cover that base. Yeah, is it? I heard spec. Is it petty? On some levels, it is. Is it not petty? On some levels, it isn't because it's a contract. And I get it, Jason. I get your take. You want to hand it to your biggest rival? Imagine if that happened and then you get knocked out in the first round. Yeah. What's the reaction going to be in Vegas? Like, why'd you hand this to him? It wouldn't be handing. It'd be obviously there'd be some compensation as well. It's tough. Life's hard sometimes. They're within their rights to do it. Like maybe there's karma in the universe and he winds up somewhere else and winds up beating Edmonton in Vegas in the playoffs. Yeah. Maybe that's the possibility as well. I see. Look, it's a hard league to win, and I get like they're really paranoid in Vegas, right? Now they say they don't care about what people think or say or what the media. They care so much, like you wouldn't believe how much they care, right? So it's going to be really interesting to see where Bruce lands. But I don't think it's anything wrong. It's within the rules. You can talk about LT. Remember, it's always within the rules with Vegas. Before it was LTIR. It's within the rules. Coach, it's within the rules. So they walk a fine line. People don't like it because they win. If this was a last place team, nobody would care, Jason. But because it's Vegas, they care a lot.
Yeah, that's very true. DB, always good to talk to you, my man. We will do it again soon. Have a great day.
Always a pleasure being on 1440, Jay. Thanks for the time. Talk to you soon.
There you go. That's Dennis Bernstein. Joining us as always from lovely Los Angeles. We'll come back. Cam Tate wraps things up on a busy Wednesday edition of the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Cheering on Canada, Mexico, Australia, France, England, Brazil, Germany, Spain, and the rest of the world at the Druid Irish Pub.
Your World Cup headquarters.
Wear your colors, cheer on your team, and enjoy $6.50 Heineken every game.
Plus, your chance to win a ton of World Cup merch,
including hoodies, jerseys, soccer balls, and more.
The Druid Irish Pub, your World Cup headquarters.
Bringing Edmonton together, one soccer game at a time.
The Druid Irish Pub.
Cheer with us in the Mercer Building across from Rogers Place in Ice District.
Are you a skilled laborer? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience, All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All-Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed.
What a performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Say hello to your new favorite drinks. Introducing new McCafe Refreshers. Icy cool, undeniably refreshing, and available in 3 flavors. Strawberry watermelon, mango pineapple, and blackberry passion fruit. Only at McDonald's.
The best way to experience Elks football is being there when it happens. From single game to flex packs, group tickets, and family packs. Your seats, your way. Ticket packs available now at goelks.com/tickets. Edmonton Elks. Our city, our year.
Just in time for the big game. Score big savings at the Brick. Save up to $1,300 off sofas, up to 25% off bedroom and dining packages, plus save up to 40% on select mattresses. And buy more, save more, up to $1,000 off select major appliances. Watch Team Canada score big on a big screen TV, up to 50% off open box electronics. See store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
You've got better things to do than wait for an oil change. Jiffy Lube gets you in and out fast. No appointment necessary. All you have to do is roll into a location near you, and we'll take care of the rest.
Sports 1440.
Every full synthetic oil change at Jiffy Lube is warranty approved and comes with a 20-point visual inspection, making sure you get back on the road safely. Find your neighborhood Jiffy Lube today. Visit jiffylubeservice.ca.
Cougar Creek Golf Resort is only minutes from Edmonton, so it's incredibly easy to fit in the perfect summer game anytime. Enjoy our championship-length golf course, surrounded by trees and rolling terrain. Book a tee time today. Go to cougarcreekgolf.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.547. George Springer drinking from the fountain of youth there. 2 stolen bases in the inning. Jays actually get a run. Man, Vladdy Guerrero was struggling. God, he does get he'll get an RBI and an infield fielder's choice, but ooh, mama, he could barely hit the ball right now. It is wild to see. Like, confidence is a thing in pro sports, man. His timing's off, everything. Like, he can barely hit the ball out of the infield. It's wild to see. Jays do get a run. Welcome back, and we'll be picking up that game in progress at the conclusion of our show. It is the Gregor Show, as always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. It's time now for the 2-Minute Morning with Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town, 45 years. Tater, born with cerebral palsy, in a wheelchair, has never let him slow him down. Now, he's always wanted to be on radio, but with his disability, he's unable to, except now. Through the wonders of technology, Cam's words come to life in the 2-Minute Morning.
It was 2013. Rexall Place, a small TV studio. Ron McLean and me, mere feet apart. The CBC broadcast had just wrapped, and the building was doing that thing buildings do when everybody's gone home. Quiet. Settling. Ron told me something that night. His contract was up in 2014, and he didn't know if he'd be back. He said he was worried. I knew the feeling. A few months before, the Edmonton Journal had let me go. So I said what you say to a friend. I told him it would work out. And it did. Sportsnet came in. $5.2 billion. 12 years. The whole thing changed overnight. Which brings us here, right now. Full disclaimer, Ron and I are friends. Good friends. So I'm not enjoying this one. There was a moment on air Sunday, meant to be a joke. By the end of the night, it had turned into an apology. And I sat with that. He's 66 now. He started with Hockey Night in Canada in 1986. Do the math. 40 years. 40 years of Saturday nights. 40 years of standing in the gap between the puck drops. 40. And Hockey Night is never coming back to the CBC. That door is shut. I keep landing on that one, so I asked myself the quiet question, the one I didn't really want to ask. Is 40 enough? I honestly don't know what Ron will do. Maybe he stays. Maybe he walks away on his own terms, the way a man who gave us that much should get to. But I keep thinking about that studio. 2 worried guys, feet apart, telling each other it'd be okay. It was okay. For a long time, it was. I just hope it ends gently. This is Tate, Sports 1440.
Changes are a-coming, I think, for how you watch the national games on TV. Obviously, there won't be on CBC anymore, and lots of people's contracts are up at Sportsnet. So you're not firing guys or gals, and when contracts are up, potential changes could be made. So that'll be an interesting off season for TV viewers as well. Now, the Blue Jays just tied a franchise record for most stolen bases in an inning with 4. Fun little game going on for the Jays as Jimenez stole second, and then Springer got walked, and they had the double steal, and then Springer stole third later. So 4 stolen bases in one inning. They also scored 2 runs in the inning as Davis Schneider starting to hit a little bit, had a double, and then he scored. And then they also have the sack, sacrifice by Guerrero. And the Jays are up on another bullpen start tonight as Max Scherzer was placed on the 15-day IL with back stiffness. If you missed it earlier, Connor Halley's England with a big 4-2 win over Croatia. And game going on right now, just near the end of the first half, Ghana and Panama, no score in that one. Uzbekistan and Colombia is the late game, 8 o'clock our time. And tomorrow, Canadians, 4 o'clock Edmonton time. 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern, Canada and Qatar. In much needed, you can't say it's a must-win game because it depends on other things, but man, it could be a much-needed win. Cons, what's your expectations for Canada tomorrow?
You know what? I mean, I think they're going to be feeling pretty good. controlling the game like they did against Bosnia and Herzegovina, unable to bury their opportunities. I think some learning lessons from that one, maybe strategy wise, play the ball into the box off your corner kicks. That probably would go a long ways, but I think they got to be feeling pretty good about it. They definitely controlled the play in their previous matchup. Now you have to know that Qatar, like we saw against Switzerland, they don't mind, breaking it down, putting bodies in front of their 18-yard box and just trying to slow things down, kind of eating shots if they have to, because the Swiss controlled the play, but just only could get one past the keeper. So, I think you have to be patient. You have to wait for it to come. But I think moving them around, going side to side as a way to kind of create that space, maybe some lanes for a through ball. Like I said, I think they get the win, but I think it also could be some frustrating moments if Qatar can execute the game plan like they did against the Swiss.
Yeah, that's true, right? You have to be patient, but Canada's got to get a lead early. That would be a big help, right? Force Qatar maybe to open it up just a bit. We'll see what happens. Look forward to that match tomorrow. Can the NHL continue their trading streak? 3 straight days of trades. Let's keep it up. It's always fun topics. Also, we'll talk more on the green and gold as they're getting set to take on the Alouettes on Saturday afternoon. We'll have some tickets for you to go to the game. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Have yourselves an awesome Wednesday evening. Let's get to the Con Man and the Sports 1440 update brought to you by Go Auto. Not only do they sell a lot of vehicles, they give back a lot of money. Over $27 million they have donated to local charities and giving back in the community. It's fantastic. GoAuto.ca. Good night.
Sports 1440 update.
One day after announcing John Tortorella would not return to the team next season, the Vegas Golden Knights have already found their new head coach in Ryan Craig, who will become the 5th coach in franchise history. Also, the Maple Leafs hiring Jim Hiller as their next head coach, who spent the last 3 years with the LA Kings. And the San Jose Sharks acquiring defenseman Michael Kessering and the 27th overall pick from the Buffalo Sabres in exchange for the 20th overall pick in the upcoming NHL entry draft. World Cup today, England knocks off Croatia 4-2. We also had Portugal and Congo tying at 1 apiece. At halftime, Panama Ghana scoreless from Toronto. And tonight, 8 o'clock, Colombia taking on Uzbekistan down in Mexico. Major League Baseball, Jays lead the Red Sox 2-0 heading into the 4th. We'll join that game in progress. You also have the Yankees on top of the White Sox 4-0, and the Giants lead the Braves 5-0. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. If you're listening on the AM dial, up next it is Blue Jays Baseball. If you're streaming, Fox Sports Radio. I'm Connor Halley, and this has been a Sports 1440 Update.